Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Right Side Broadcasting. We are in Allentown, Pennsylvania for another one of President Trump's Make America Great Again rallies, scheduled to take place at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I want to jump off the bat and say that we got a late start to the day. It was a crazy, chaotic morning. We had a very short turnaround time from me leaving Manchester, New Hampshire yesterday. We got Scott Pressler here, our guest correspondent. And it's raining, as you can probably tell. A lot of things didn't go according to plan. We had to jump through plenty of hoops, but we are so grateful that you joined us today. We're happy that you're here, Scott Pressler. Go ahead, for those that don't know you, which I find hard to believe, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you. Well, listen, Right Side Broadcasting will always show you what the other news won't. We are unedited. We are live. We give you the footage from the beginning to the end. My name is Scott Pressler. I am a conservative activist that travels the country not only registering voters, but picking up trash in America's most dangerous and dirtiest cities. And I am a big fan of President Trump, doing everything in my power to help re-elect him this November.
Yes, Scott is doing amazing work out there. Lots of people know him. People recognize him. They're getting pictures with him already this morning. We have a huge crowd, a huge crowd. I know I say that every rally, and the rain. I know I say that every time that we have a huge crowd, but I mean it. Like, people were lined up at like 6 a.m. For us, media check-in this morning was at 3:30 a.m. Mind you, we didn't get to Allentown, Pennsylvania until 1 a.m., right? So it's been a quick turnaround. We had to do a lot of things to make this happen, but nonetheless, we did make it happen, and we're right here as we are committed to bringing you President Trump's rallies, every single one, leading up until election. Scott, we've got 8 days to go until we re-elect President Trump. What is the political landscape now as it stands with the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, listen, President Trump is doing, I believe, 3 rallies in Pennsylvania today, right? That shows me a man that is determined to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And let's talk about his debate performance for a second. One of the most critical things right at the end of the debate is, I can't believe he even slipped it by. He said, Joe, how do you feel about the oil industry? You know, will you stop it? Will you destroy it? And Joe Biden admitted that yes, to millions of Americans, he will destroy the oil industry. He will ban fracking. And to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to the voters at home that are watching, I ask you, are you going to allow Joe Biden to take away your jobs? Are you going to allow him to devastate the union workers that do work in oil, natural gas, logging, steel? He's going to affect your jobs, even if you're a union worker. And this is the moment when the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you have the power. You have the power to vote. And if you are wanting to keep your jobs, to keep your livelihoods, to put bread on the table for your families, then you have a choice this November. Joe Biden is going to ban fracking and destroy oil, and President Trump is going to continue fracking and to support natural gas, to support the oil industry, and to support your jobs and livelihoods.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me go ahead and tell you guys today about our partner, Disney Coins. Disney Coins is an American-made company made by American citizens. They use American machines. It is genuine copper and silver. If you go to DisneyCoins.com, you can collect several different coins. There's President Trump on Mount Rushmore. There's Melania Trump. There's Back the Blue. They have over 20-plus patriotic designs and styles, and they try to release 2 new ones each month. Us at Right Side Broadcasting, we're collecting those, and we think you should collect them too. Now, if you use RSBN, I'm sorry, let me look at this thing here. If you use RSBN at checkout, you will get a discount. You'll get 10% off, 10% of their proceeds go back to conservative causes, but you will get a discount at checkout if you use RSBN at checkout, and that's DisneyCoins.com. Go to Disney Coins, DISME Coins.com. They are our partner for the day. It's a patriotic company, genuine copper and silver. Collect them while you can. They make great stocking stuffers, great Christmas presents, great birthday presents. Support an American company like you're supporting RSBN. Support Disney Coins, DISME Coins.com. Now, also, guys, I want to let you also know that we are almost entirely viewer funded, so your donations allow us to pull together these rallies in short notice. This rally that we're at right now was announced 48 hours ago, less than 48 hours ago. And what our CEO had to do from the studio back in Auburn, Alabama, was organize travel, cancel flights, get a cameraman up here, get a guest correspondent up here, get me flown down here in short notice, and that's because of your donations. President Trump announced that last minute, and we were able to still put it together and bring it to you live. So your donations go a long way to us covering the president's rallies across the country. We got 8 days to go until we vote in the most important election of our lifetime. So the best way to support us, there's 3 ways. You can click the little $ in the bottom right corner if you're watching this on YouTube and donate via Super Chat. Please be advised, YouTube takes 30% of it. So if you don't want YouTube doing that, you can go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, rsbnetwork.com/donate. The third way, for those of you who don't want to send your hard-earned money through the digital atmosphere, I understand it, I get it, you can mail a check to our physical address. That's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. So, Scott.
Yes, sir.
We got a lot of people out here. They were lined up at, I believe when Gage got here, they were lined up at like 3:30 a.m. This rain or shine, they came to see their president. What are your thoughts on just the patriotism here in Pennsylvania?
Well, these people are going to vote. Anybody that's coming out here that are sitting in the bleachers in rain, that are sitting out here with it spitting on us, that shows me a very fired up electorate. The base knows that President Trump is fighting for them, and that's why they're showing up, because they know that President Trump loves them and they want to show that love back to the president. And in Pennsylvania, this is it. It comes down to 20 electoral points. Whoever wins Pennsylvania has a great likelihood of winning the presidency this November. President Trump knows that, and he's not taking any chances. And that's why, look, if Biden was ahead so far in the polls, why is President Obama coming to Philly? If Biden is so far ahead, then why are the Democrats suddenly doing door knocking when up until October they had done no outreach, no door knocking, no physical contact? They had only done digital. They had only done media. That leads me to believe that we are much closer, not only in the polls, but we are closer in the votes than you guys even imagine. And we are just popular here, Right Side Broadcasting. Everybody knows our name. We got people shouting at us. But guys, I have to tell you, this is going to be a close election. And I know you don't want me to say that, and I know you don't want to hear that, but I'm telling it to you because I want to encourage you and urge you and inspire you and motivate you. Go vote. Our people, I know, are going to vote in person on Election Day, and we really need that swell of voters on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Now, we have, I believe, a rabbi who's going to be talking to us right now, so we'll cut over to his footage, and then we'll get you back on what's happening here in Pennsylvania.
President Trump to northeastern Pennsylvania. A land where we love liberty, family, America, and God. The Bible and our Pennsylvania Liberty Bell proclaim, call out liberty throughout the land to all the inhabitants therein. We want to be free to make our living without oppressive government lockdowns. This is a land blessed by providence, founded on the lofty idea that our rights come not from the deep state, but from God. We are proud of our farms and countryside, our cities and towns, our hills and valleys, and our Lehigh Valley. We cherish our families, our biblical houses of worship, our wholesome values, and the need to defend them. After all, self-defense is a biblical and constitutional right. President Trump understands this and is fighting for us daily on these very vital issues. We support our coal miners in Carbondale and Union, our frackers in Williamsport, our cattle growers in Berks and Northampton counties, and our craftsmen in Lehigh. We believe in their jobs and the dignity of their work. They and we are not deplorables, rather hard-working, patriotic Americans. Blessed are we among the family of nations. My friends and countrymen, all of us here are battling today for the soul of America. We will not be robbed of our heritage. Bless our candidates, our men and fine Republican ladies who are working to make sure that Pennsylvania has a bright future. This is Trump country. Why? Because President Trump believes in America and the American people. Donald J. Trump is the people's president. He is making America great again. Unlike his opponents, he is proud to be an American. He is an American original. Beyond question, President Trump is made in the USA. And we are one nation under God. This is our country. Let's fight for it now, more than ever. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, USMC Master Sergeant Rosalind Schroeder.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I want it loud and proud. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey! Thank you!
Please remain standing for this version of our national anthem by national recording artist R.J. Scouten.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's give a warm Lehigh Valley welcome to Congressman Dan Muser.
Well, one thing's for sure. Rain doesn't stop Republicans or Pennsylvania Democrats. Welcome to Allentown. Welcome to the Lehigh Valley. I'm Dan Muser, and I represent a district that's just a little bit west of here in proud Pennsylvania. And all of Pennsylvania will assure 4 more years for Donald J. Trump and Mike Pence. Are you with me? President Trump has not lost a vote since that beautiful victory in 2016, and President Trump will win again because he has kept his promises to Pennsylvania and to America. Before the China virus invaded our shores, we had in Pennsylvania the best economy we've had in over 100 years. Unemployment incredibly low. Wages way up. I don't know if that's him. Manufacturing is back. Our families and small businesses' taxes have been reduced. President Trump has protected our Second Amendment rights and all of our constitutional rights. President Trump protected our border. He enormously reduced illegal immigration, and yes, is building the wall. Very important. Promise kept. President Trump was the architect and successfully negotiated a Middle East peace deal, but where's his Nobel Peace Prize? The Trump administration defeated ISIS, and President Trump has unwavering support for law and order, and we always back the blue. We thank our law enforcement that's here with us today. And as of tonight, the President will have nominated and have confirmed the 3rd Constitutional Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, will be on the court. Along with building up our military and having their backs, President Trump has greatly improved the benefits for our nation's veterans. Do we have some veterans here with us today? Please stand up. Let us honor you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And you know what, folks? We know it. President Trump is just warming up. So let's talk about that Harris-Biden ticket for a moment. Their agenda's a little bit different. It's sort of like the Bernie Sanders Socialist Manifesto, which they agreed to. Higher taxes, open borders, nationalized elections. And what about that fracking issue? They said they were against it for 4 or 5 times before they said they were for it. Well, one thing I can tell you is they're fracking liars. They also give every indication that they're going to pack the Supreme Court, which is absolutely dangerous to our republic and will dismantle our constitutional government. What do you say we dismantle them first? And by the way, where's Hunter? I know where he's not. He's not on Main Street media, and that's wrong. Pennsylvania Democrats and certainly Pennsylvania Republicans will not accept media censorship and a cover-up of potential corruption. This is serious. It needs to be investigated. And let me ask you this. Could you imagine if this had been Don Jr.? All right? It's wrong. Let's investigate it, media. You know what, though? Pennsylvania Republicans and traditional Democrats can agree on. Joe Biden is very much like an onion. The more you peel him back, the more you want to cry. And so, my fellow Pennsylvanians, in order to make Pennsylvania as great as it can be, we need to re-elect President Trump. We need real leadership in Pennsylvania that recognizes that our constitutional liberties are not fair weather freedoms. Our constitutional liberties exist in good times and challenging times. We must open up our economy in Pennsylvania. We must open smart, we must open safely, and we must end the lockdowns. Are you listening, Governor Wolf? And finally, let's also make sure we take that gavel away from Nancy Pelosi. Every voter in Pennsylvania must know a vote for a Democrat for Congress this year is a vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. A vote for a Democrat for Congress in this election is a vote to again impeach the president. They did it once, they'll try to do it again. It is essential in District 7, where we are, that we that we elect Lisa Scheller to Congress. Lisa Scheller will represent your interests, not San Francisco interests, not the interests of Nancy Pelosi. So who here is voting for Lisa Scheller? Yes, we will win back the House with that victory. So thank you all. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Let's vote to put Donald Trump back in the White House. Let's make Pennsylvania as great as it should be for all Pennsylvanians. And let's, to borrow a phrase, make America great again, again. God bless the United States. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for your next Congresswoman, Lisa Scheller!
Hey everyone, how are you today? So it's 8 days from the election, and I always like to do my countdown. So in 8 days, working together with your help and support, we are going to give Susan Wild her walking papers. In 8 days, with your support and your help, we are going to take back the House for Republicans. Bye-bye, Nancy Pelosi. And in 8 days, with your help and your support, we are going to re-elect President Donald J. Trump. I'm Lisa Scheller, and I'm running for U.S. Congress to help put Americans back to work following this pandemic, to jumpstart our economy, and to clean up the chaos and the dysfunction that's in Washington. Now, I know I can help because I'm a business person and an engineer. I'm not a politician. I run a chemical manufacturing company that employs 150 hard-working Pennsylvanians. 40% of what we manufacture is exported around the world, and I am so proud of what Made in America means. Now my opponent, West Coast liberal, socialist, Susan Wild and Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, she hates when I call her that because she knows it's the truth. They want to legislate a road to socialism for us. They want to bury us in job-crushing, tax-increasing, economy-wrecking legislation like the Green New Deal and Medicare for All. Susan Wild votes with Nancy Pelosi 99% of the time. And we all know Nancy Pelosi isn't right for Pennsylvania 99% of the time. Nancy Pelosi isn't even right for Pennsylvania 50% of the time. Heck, Susan Wild and Nancy Pelosi are just plain wrong for Pennsylvania. They are the chaos and the dysfunction in Washington. We need to protect our Second Amendment, and that's why I am so honored to be endorsed by the NRA. We need to make sure our families, our homes, and our businesses are safe and secure, and that our law enforcement officers have adequate funding. And that's why I am so humbled and honored to be endorsed by more than 50,000 law enforcement officers across this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And we need to make sure that our economy gets back on track and that we are not stuck locked down in our basements like the president's opponent. And that's why I am so humbled and honored to have the endorsement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Now, Susan Wild also wants to defund our military. Did you know that? She even said it herself. This is what she said, quote, "We need to take some of our military spending and move it to climate change." She said it's an existential threat. Well, you know what's an existential threat? Susan Wild and Nancy Pelosi's socialist legislation is an existential threat to our freedom. So the election is only 8 days away, and we need to make sure that everybody in this stadium, that everyone across Pennsylvania 7, that everyone across Pennsylvania comes out to vote. It is that important. We're talking about the difference between freedom and socialism here, the direction of America, where we're going to be headed down, and it's a road that we need to make sure that we win. So I'm asking you all, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to your family. If you're mailing your ballots in, and I'm pretty sure most of you are actually showing up in person as I am, that you do that as well. But we need to get out the vote. And that's what I ask you to do. Because in 8 days, the voice of Pennsylvania's 7th District, that road to the White House, that road to the House majority, that voice is going to be heard. And it cannot be a vote for socialism. It cannot be a vote for Nancy Pelosi and Susan Wild. It cannot be a vote for equality of outcome. It must be a vote for freedom. It must be a vote for turning PA 7 red again. It must be a vote for equality of opportunity. It must be a vote for the President of the United States of America, and it must be a vote for the American dream. So God bless you. God bless the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Trump Campaign Pennsylvania State Chair and the Lehigh Valley's own Bernie Comfort.
Good morning, Lehigh Valley. How are we doing? You know, I have the honor of traveling all over the state for this president, but there's no better place than home. I grew up in the Lehigh Valley, and I'm raising my family here, and it is great to be with you. My name is Bernie Comfort, and I have the 2 best jobs in the world. First is mom. I love my 10-year-old daughter, Lucy, and I work so that she can grow up and succeed in a great America. An America that our founding fathers dreamed of. An America that this president fights for every day. The second job is to serve as chair of the president's campaign here in Pennsylvania, my home state. Thank you. And you know, I was talking with the president a few weeks ago, and he asked me, Bernie, are we going to win Pennsylvania? You took my punchline. I was going to ask you, I know the answer, but are we going to win for the president? You bet we are. While Joe Biden is looking for his remote control in his basement, our team on the ground has been working long, hard days in all 67 counties in this great Keystone state. You know, folks, I've been in politics a long time, and I've worked on a lot of campaigns, and I've never seen the enthusiasm and excitement and, quite frankly, love for this president. I've never seen the amount of voter contact being done in Pennsylvania before to win. Our team has knocked on over 2.5 million doors. We've contacted over 13 million voters. Yeah. We've registered thousands and thousands of new voters and recruited over 100,000 new volunteers. Men, women, and young people alike, and they all know what you and I know. They know that Joe Biden might have been born in Pennsylvania, but he left for the D.C. swamp a long time ago. You know, in fact, Joe Biden couldn't find Scranton with 3 GPS apps. Make no mistake about it, though. Joe Biden knows every back hallway in Washington, D.C. And working moms like me are on Zoom sessions working by day, taking our kids to soccer at night, while Joe Biden, dinosaur politicians like Joe Biden, are meeting in lobbying sessions behind closed doors, trading away the jobs of hard-working Pennsylvanians like you. Does that make Joe popular here? No. Let me ask you, friends, does Joe Biden represent Pennsylvania values? No. You and I know the man that represents the concerns of this great Commonwealth. We know the man that fights for the America we love, Donald J. Trump. Now, this is a close race. And you know, the far-left Biden supporters are working hard every day to try to make him look good. This is a tough job, but they're trying every day. And I'm just talking about the news media. Listen, folks, we have 8 days left to win this election. And we can and will do it, working hard and working together. I'm an optimistic woman, and I believe that this president is putting this country on a path where my daughter and your children and grandchildren will grow up in a country where hard work matters more than what special interest group you belong to. In a country where we embrace and teach our American history and we don't cancel culture. In a country where parents like me have a choice in my child's education and no child will be limited by his or her zip code. Yep. In a country where American jobs stay in America. In a country where we stand for the flag and kneel only to God. And finally, in a country where police officers are respected and rioters are put in prison. Is this the country you want, Pennsylvania? This is the country I want, and this is the country we have and will have with President Donald J. Trump. Now, I'm asking you to fight for the man who's been fighting for us. Will you do it? I'm asking you to make a promise today, a promise to the man who's kept all of his promises to us. Will you do it? Will you go out there and get every vote possible for Donald J. Trump? Thank you. Together, we will re-elect the president. Welcome, Mr. President.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, we are in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where President Trump is scheduled to deliver remarks at 11 a.m. Eastern. This was an early morning for us. I know if you're tuning in you're on the West Coast, it's probably like 7, 8 a.m. out there. If you're in Hawaii, it's probably still dark. It's probably like 3 a.m. out there. But no matter where you're watching from, we are so grateful for you to tune in and join us today on Right Side Broadcasting. This is a rally that was put together less than 48 hours ago. So we're used to having at least 2, maybe 3 days notice, but we didn't have nearly that much time, and yet we were still able to pull it off. Now, let me tell you guys what this looks like to put something together like this. It looks like changing flights. It's trying to book a hotel. It's trying to get a rental car when there's limited availability. It looks like, you know, getting correspondence to different places. We were lucky to get Scott Pressler with us today. I can't even stress you guys how crazy it's been, but I love it. I'm not complaining. I'm loving this. This is the greatest time of my life. I'm living my best life right now. But let me tell you, traveling back and forth between the Rust Belt and the Sun Belt, where the contrast of climate has sharpened over the last couple of days, it looks like me going to Walgreens at 1 a.m. to get echinacea and zinc and elderberry and immunity boosting supplements so that I can stay in tip-top shape. We're just 8 days away from the most important election we're ever going to vote in. The most important election ever. 8 days stand between us and re-electing Donald J. Trump. So I want to thank everyone who supports us at Right Side Broadcasting. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in on this early Monday morning. We're having a case of the Mondays, but not in a bad way, in a great way. The rain has finally lightened up a little bit. But those of you that support us, just know that we're so grateful for every last one of you. God bless every last one of you. For those of you that are new to Right Side Broadcasting, if you want to support independent media that backs the president, that's going to show you the crowd, that's going to interview all of his supporters and show you his speech start to finish so you can hear directly from him with no media spin, no narrative, no agenda, just straight facts from the president about his agenda for this country, support us at Right Side Broadcasting on our website. Go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, rsbnetwork.com/donate. You can also mail checks to our physical address, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. If you're watching on YouTube, you can donate via Super Chat. In the bottom right corner of the chat is a little $sign there, and that's a quick way to send us a little digital donation. So please do that. We are grateful for you guys. It takes a lot to get correspondents and cameramen out to these events, but we're committed to doing that. 8 days to go. This is the first of 3 events that President Trump's holding in Pennsylvania. And then tomorrow, he's holding 3 events in 3 different states. And we've got camera crews and correspondents on the ground in each of those locations. And those locations are Michigan. I don't know the city names, guys. I just know the states off the top of my head. It's going to be Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nebraska, those 3 states. And then from there, President Trump's heading out west to Nevada and Arizona. So again, the contrast from going from the Rust Belt to the Sun Belt, or the Midwest down to the Southwest where it's cold. Like, so I'm going to be in Nebraska tomorrow. And in Nebraska, I think it's going to be like 30 degrees. And then I'm jumping out to Arizona, where it's probably going to be like 90 degrees. So I got to make sure that I'm taking care of myself out here. And it's your donation to support that go a long way to helping us do this, guys. We work hard. We work overtime, just like this president works overtime. He's working around the clock to campaign and save this country. And I respect it. The only people that are working probably as hard as the president are the leftist corporate dinosaur media apparatus that is protecting Joe Biden and propping him up and trying to drag him over the finish line. Those are the only people that, in my opinion, are probably working as hard as the president. The people that are trying to prop up this establishment, globalist puppet, Joe Biden. It ain't going to happen. Not on our watch. Not while I'm here at Right Side Broadcasting. And I'm going to jump back on camera here and bring in our guest correspondent, Scott Pressler. Scott, the rain has finally cleared out. We're about an hour away from President Trump's speech here. What are your thoughts? Just give us a data dump on everything going on, everything that's on your mind, sir.
Oh, you want a data dump? Okay, let's go. Well, a couple days ago, I was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and Adams County is a very important county. Now, it's a Trump county, but we need those votes. Those could be the votes that push Donald Trump over to victory in this November. Now, here's the interesting thing. So I did an event there. It was packed. The office was completely packed, but here's the thing. People came up from Virginia, Maryland, I think even Jersey. And I want to give a shout out to a wonderful gentleman by the name of Pulkit. Pulkit is not even an American citizen. He's Indian. He's working in our country legally. Now, he used to be a Bernie Sanders supporter, and he's come over to Donald Trump. He not only knocked on doors last weekend, but came up to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania from Virginia this last weekend too. So President Trump is inspiring people that aren't even American, that are helping us preserve the American dream. You see, because America is the last, freest, greatest, shining beacon on the hill, right? We're it. If America falls, where do people look for freedom? And that's why this election is so important, because we're not just fighting for the American people, but we are fighting so the rest of the world can understand what it means to have freedom and to have that hope. And so, Pulkit, thank you for helping us. And I want to give a shout out to Megan. Megan actually supported Hillary Clinton in 2016. Young girl. This is going to be her first vote, I believe she said. First vote. She didn't even vote in 2016. And she said the lockdown actually brought her to watch a Trump rally. And that Bright Side Broadcasting will show you unedited, live, every single time. We are always there. And Megan said that watching that Trump rally opened her eyes. And she said, Trump is making sense. And now she's with us, knocking on doors, going to be voting for Donald Trump. And that's why the work that we're doing is so important, because we're reaching those people. We're opening their eyes. We're taking back that curtain and allowing people to see and to hear clearly. Now let's talk about Arizona for a second, because the Democrats kind of have this pipe dream that Mark Kelly, the Democrat running for Senate, the astronaut, is going to win, and they have this pipe dream that Arizona is going to flip. Well, get this, some data for you. In 2016, right now, the Republicans have already voted 90% of their 2016 votes. And we still have 8 days left of mail-in, in-person voting. So that shows me a very fired-up electorate in Arizona. And we know that conservatives are going to vote on Election Day. So I believe Donald Trump could pull out that victory in Arizona, and that means that Martha McSally, riding that wind, riding that tail wave, we could keep that Senate seat, preserving our Republican majority. Now let's talk about Florida. Now wait a second, did I hear correctly? Did you vote? Have you already voted?
I voted in person, sir.
Oh my gosh.
I cast my ballot for Donald J. Trump just the other day in the great state of Florida.
Stop it. And actually, I don't want to steal your thunder, but you even had to fly home just to get that in-person early vote. Is that correct?
That is correct, because I knew that I was going to be on the road until Election Day. I did not want to chance it. And I'm a big fan of jumping on the opportunity right away, doing things early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, guys, get those votes locked in. I don't care if you're in Miami-Dade, Broward County. Let me tell you, in South Florida, I think something's in the water. Something magical is happening, that our in-person early voting, I believe, is up over Democrats in Miami-Dade. And that has been that was the home of Brenda Snipes. No, that was Broward County. But that is Democrat territory, that is Hillary Clinton, that is Joe Biden area. And the fact that Republicans are doing so well leads me to believe that we're also looking really good in Florida. Now,
it's not just Republicans, it's Cubans and Venezuelans in Miami.
Yes.
The Latino vote in Miami is huge.
And why? Why do you think that the Venezuelans and Cubans are supporting Donald Trump?
Well, it starts with why they're in the country to begin with, because they're fleeing persecution. They're fleeing the tyranny of socialism and communism, and they see that freedom and prosperity are on the ballot. Like, literally, Joe Biden is going to drag us in the opposite direction and push us off the cliff of totalitarian governments, which they're very familiar with.
So they don't want to repeat the same mistakes that they fled from. And I've heard, the generation that came here first from Cuba, Venezuela, they vote heavily Donald Trump. But this next generation, their children, they've been kind of wishy-washy. And I believe just recently with Bernie Sanders, with Joe Biden embracing that dangerous socialist rhetoric, I think this next generation, they're going to come home to the Republican Party because they understand why their parents fled, and they don't want to Venezuela the United States of America. And let's talk about North Carolina for a second, because you said data dump. Data dump. I want to give the people at home the data that they aren't telling you. Now, in 2016, North Carolina, they were saying could go blue, that it was a swing state, that it could vote for Hillary Clinton. Well, going into Election Day, we had a deficit of 300,000 plus votes, right? And right now, we're actually at similar proportions, which means that we won in 2016 North Carolina, despite that 300,000 deficit. So the fact that we currently are on similar proportions going into Election Day in 2020, that also leads me to believe we're doing well in North Carolina. So to kind of give you a recap, Arizona, things are looking good. North Carolina, things are looking good. Florida, things are looking good. Now, Pennsylvania, where we are right now in Allentown, this is Lehigh County. This has been a historically blue county But the people here are fired up. This is our chance. Bucks County, let's flip it from blue to red. Lehigh County, let's flip it from blue to red. Center County, we're state colleges, let's flip it from blue to red. Erie County, let's keep it red. This is your opportunity. Everyone at home, I want you to know you are so powerful. You have limitless opportunity. We can literally transform and change America simply by you coming to vote. I missed that. Who's coming on right now?
Nobody's coming on. They're just basically saying that Air Force One is clear to land.
Clear to land. The President of the United States is about to join us.
Yes, he's about to join us. And I want to piggyback on something that you said at the beginning of your data dump when you talked about the people who left the Democrat Party, yes. The Indian person, the Indian American, yeah, that voted for Bernie. I want people to understand that this is a coalition of American citizens that support the president. We need to ditch the idea of Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. I know I rail against the Democrat Party, right? But
American.
We are Americans first. And that's why for those of you that think that, oh, we shouldn't have liberals here, I know liberals that are going to vote for President Trump. We need to welcome everybody in with open arms because it's not about the left-right paradigm. That's just to divide us, right? It's all about bringing people together who support freedom, liberty, prosperity in the United States of America. And it's fine because we're never going to have a utopian society where everybody's on the same page. We support intellectual diversity. We can't be hypocrites and try to alienate people for having different ideas. But if you share the freedom and principle, prosperity principles that this country was founded upon, then you have a home in this movement. That's essentially what this is. This movement of President Trump is because people were tired of the two-party establishment system. I talk about the establishment corporate media that's behind us here. They don't care about the truth. They care about their narrative. They're never going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you the narrative. We're going to tell you the truth. We're going to show you the crowd. We're going to show you President Trump's speech. We're going to let you know what's actually going on because we don't take big corporate dollars. We don't take big billionaire dollars. We don't take big donor monies. We are here to deliver the truth, guys. And the truth is, no matter what color you are, no matter where you came from, you can make it in this country. It doesn't matter. That's the actual truth, right? And that's the truth that they don't want you to know. They need people to be in a perpetual state of fear and a perpetual victimhood, dependence. They need to have an omnipresent boogeyman that tells blacks, Hispanics, gays, immigrants, you can't make it here because blah, blah, blah. Therefore, you need the government. We're going to save you, even though government's the problem to begin with. That's another story. I won't go on a tangent there. But I want to say it because I heard a few people saying, like, we don't want liberals in here. Yes, we do. We want liberals in here that are going to vote for President Trump. I mean, there are people who walked away from the Democrat Party. They still consider themselves liberal. And let's also be clear that liberals are not the same as what the Democrats are today. They're not liberal. They have been co-opted by Marxists, communists, totalitarians. They do not believe in borders. They do not believe in the First and Second Amendment. They don't believe in speech and freedom. So it's a totally different party. It's a totally different beast that we're fighting right now. We're going to slay this dragon in 8 days, Scott. Can we get this crowd here? The crowd is just, I love it that even though it's raining and the rain has lightened up a little bit, we still have a lot of energy in this crowd here. And they recognize us, even though we're all bundled up here. People are cheering. They're excited. We're just moments away. I know it doesn't look as full as it normally would. That's because they're running behind schedule big time as far as getting people through the security lines. You know, people got to take off gloves and ponchos, and it's just weird, guys. It's weird. But there's a big crowd of people. I see the line behind us over there. There's a lot of people still trying to get in. But for those of you that are just tuning in, let me tell you about our partner for the day, Disney Coins. Disney Coins is the epitome of made in America because they're made by American machines and by American people that deeply love this country. They have copper and silver, genuine copper and silver coins. And they have 20 plus patriotic designs each month. There's the President Trump on Mount Rushmore. There's Melania Trump. There's Back the Blue. They make great stocking stuffers, great collector's items. You can, Father's Day gifts, birthday gifts. Please go to DisneyCoins.com and support an American company. We're collecting the coins ourselves. You'll get 10% off if you use RSBN at checkout. They also give 10% of their profits back to conservative causes. So support Disme Coins, DISME coins.com. And also, I want to give some shout outs to the super chatters in here. We got 23,000 watching, which is far greater than I expected with it being so early in the morning. We want to appreciate all of you that are watching us right now. I won't be able to pull out my phone as much as I normally do because of the rain, the weather element here. Oh, the super chats went away, but I did see that we had super chats. Those of you that have super chatted, I want to thank every last one of you. For those of you who are not able to super chat or not able to donate, the very least you can do is give us a thumbs up. We got 23,000 people watching, and we got 7,000 upvotes. Now, the reason why it's so important for you to upvote and give us a thumbs up is because YouTube does not want the truth getting out. They do not want independent media promoted on their mainstream. However, we can circumvent their algorithms by you giving us a thumbs up, because it'll be promoted, which means more people will see it, which means more people will hear the president and consider voting for him. So if you care about this country, if you care about winning in 8 days, the very least you can do is give us a thumbs up. Also, you can subscribe to Right Side Broadcasting. Hit the bell notification so you do not miss a rally every time we go live. And it's going to be a lot of times that we're going live in the next 8 days. 2 more rallies today in Pennsylvania, followed by 3 rallies tomorrow in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. And then we're headed out west to Nevada and Arizona. We're going to turn around here because the rain is just beating on my face here. But the crowd, they're fired up. It's 10:30, and I believe that President Trump is on time. They're up there chanting USA. They're excited. They're building the energy here. Rain or shine, people are out here to support their president. And rain or shine, we're going to be out here to bring you coverage of his rally, of his speech. You're going to see it all, start to finish. So, yeah, we're about 30 minutes away from President Trump's arrival, and I believe he's going to be on schedule today. So, I don't know. What should we cover next, Scott? What have we not covered?
Talk about the debate, the final presidential debate. What were some highlights? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part of the debate is how Joe Biden tried to make false equivalencies between his corruption and what he perceives as President Trump's corruption. He brought up President Trump having a bank account in China. That's not the same. President Trump, as a private citizen business owner doing business in China, that's not weird.
Thank you.
That's not weird. What is weird is Vice President at the time, Joe Biden, taking money from foreign countries and dictating our foreign policy based on that. He had favors for sale from the highest office in the land, and he tried to deflect and divert and highlight President Trump. And what I say to that is that only appeals to the very low information voter, but everyone else saw right through that. And I also loved how President Trump hammered Joe Biden on his 47 years of corruption. Yes. Joe Biden talked about, well, when I'm elected, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he's like, why didn't you do it, Joe? I remember at one point in time when Joe Biden was campaigning, he said, I'm going to end cancer. I'm going to cure cancer if you elect me. That's one of the worst things you can say. So we have to put you in power for you to do the right thing. First of all, you're not going to cure cancer, and this cancer doesn't work that way. Like, if you elect me, cancer goes away. He's such a weak person. He's very pathetic, and
I think the moderator actually did a really great job. I mean, comparatively to the last debate. And one question that I really like that she asked is, she said, Joe Biden, have you contacted your Democratic colleagues and asked them to take action? And the answer was no. And so, wait a second. He's making the excuse that he doesn't have to take action unless he were elected. That doesn't sound like a leader. That doesn't sound presidential. We want somebody that's actually going to be forward-thinking and to take action even before they step foot in office.
Exactly. And it's like, who does that appeal to when he says, well, no, your taxes are going to get raised, not cut. And no, you don't deserve to know who I'm going to put on the Supreme Court. If I'm going to, who does that appeal to? Who is that hearing that and they're like, this is music to my ears? I'm guessing a very small fraction of the population that's probably unhinged with Trump derangement syndrome. They're like, I don't care what comes out of Joe Biden's mouth. I just want him in office.
Well, they had a focus group that was talking about the differences of describing adjectives between Joe Biden and Trump. And they said Joe Biden was described as vague, untrustworthy, dismissive, and they said President Trump, they even described him as presidential, calm, collected, had good temperament. And so I think that President Trump did exactly what he was meant to do to seal the deal during that presidential debate. And he said everything. Finally, when they were talking about especially the black community, I'm glad he talked about the historically black colleges and universities. I'm glad he talked about prison reform. I'm glad he talked about the Platinum Plan. The fact of the matter is, you at home, you have to understand, Joe Biden has been a career politician for 47 years. And if you ask a Joe Biden supporter, what is your favorite Joe Biden accomplishment? They can't tell you. But if you ask a Trump supporter, what is your favorite accomplishment? I can tell you, he stopped TPP. He renegotiated NAFTA. He gave us the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. He's building the wall and securing our border. He moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. He's supporting our police. He reformed the VA. I mean, the list of President Trump's accomplishments, what this man has done in fewer than 4 years, I can only imagine what we will get with a full term if you vote. And I'm going to say it again. This election is going to be close. It is not going to be a landslide. So make a plan to vote. Turn in your ballot. Make a plan to vote in person on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, or go back home to Florida and vote early in person like my good friend Mike did. But vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like freedom is on the ballot. Guys, I want to make this so crystal clear to you. The Democrats don't even have control, and they locked us down. They are the lockdown liberals. Imagine what the Democrats will do with a presidency, with the Senate, and with the House. Imagine how they will trample on our rights and our freedoms, and they will take away everything that we know as the American dream. This is your defining moment. This is your legacy. This is our opportunity to make history. So don't wake up on November 4th wishing and hoping that you had done more.
Guys, how do I follow that up? That was incredible, man. That was incredible. You have so much passion and energy, and I know they're loving it in the audience watching. Guys, the accomplishments of this president, you listed a bunch, and there's a bunch that you forgot, and of course you forgot, because how could you remember them all? I mean, all of them. I love what he's done on the foreign policy stage. I mean, wiping out ISIS, peace, literally peace. He got North and South Korea.
He didn't start a new war.
Yeah, North and South Korea talking, shaking hands. I mean, this is historic stuff. I mean, you got Sudan and the UAE normalizing relations with Israel, right? ISIS, al-Baghdadi and Soleimani gone, right? Cracking down on China, having a hardline stance on China, hardline stance on immigration. He's done so many things. Arresting human traffickers. The most human traffickers arrested in any president's term. It makes you wonder what was really happening before, but we're not going to go down that path, right? Now,
lowering drug prices.
Going
after big pharma, that's huge.
Lowering taxes.
Wanting to audit the Fed and actually have a balanced federal government.
Yeah. Restricting the powers of the federal bureaucracy, slashing regulations and red tape, allowing businesses to grow. He has created a pro-business environment, and you see it reflected in the economy. Like black business ownership up 400%, black home ownership up, like black wealth up. I mean, so many numbers just up with this president. Just incredible things that he's done, and we need 4 more years, because what would happen if the Democrats get power, which they so desperately crave? They're foaming at the mouth for power. First of all, you're going to have Maxine Waters still in there. Nancy Pelosi, these corrupt swamp creatures will remain in positions of power. They're going to radically reshape our country for the worse. They're going to make it so that no Republican ever gets elected again, and they're going to do that by way of statehood for Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. They're going to lower the voting age to 16. They just got these radical, crazy pipe dreams, abolishing the electoral colleges, packing the Supreme Court, ending the filibuster, making it impossible for any Republican to ever get elected again. Shifting demographics, flooding people over from the border, sanctuary cities, allowing illegal immigrants to vote, and of course, voter fraud, talking about the election in Florida. You can vote early in person. In Pennsylvania, you can vote early, but it's got to be by mail. And I think we all know what that means. Pennsylvania, Democrat governor. Florida, Republican governor.
And you know, I want to give a shout out because President Trump, I think, has actually made the Republican Party better. And what I mean by that is look at people like Mitch McConnell. I think we've seen a new man. Look at Senator Ted Cruz. Look at Josh Hawley, that President Trump helped to get elected in 2018, defeating Claire McCaskill. I think what President Trump is, he's made the Republican Party tough, and we are no longer spineless jellyfish that are just going to roll over and allow the Democrats to trample over us. And look at the coalitions that we are building. President Trump, while the Democrats say that the Republican Party is moribund, I disagree. I think he has made our tent bigger, he has made our coalition stronger, and he has made us tougher. And you know what? I'm proud that Mitch McConnell is giving us Amy Coney Barrett. And I have to show you my shirt for 1 second, guys, because look, I have on here our next Supreme Court Justice who is going to be voted on today. And this is because of Mitch McConnell. This is because of President Trump. And ultimately, this is because of you. Because in 2018, you had the choice and you expanded our Republican majority in the United States Senate.
No doubt, President Trump definitely stiffens the spine of the Republican Party. And a lot of the things that he does really just resonates with the average person. When he says he doesn't have time to be totally politically correct, guess who else doesn't have time to be totally politically correct? Myself. I said on the last time we were in Pennsylvania, I said, yeah, we need to abolish the Democrat Party. Also, Oprah, shut up. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I don't apologize for it. I mean, she's done so much damage to the country. Just as an example, does she not need to be quiet? You know what I'm saying? Those are just examples where people come up to me, they're like, Mike, of all the times that you've done these events, I love what you had to say the last time you were with Scott Presler, because I was just firing on all cylinders. I didn't have time to stop. I didn't have time to stop and kowtow and use euphemisms and all this like newspeak. That's what the left wants to do. They want to use euphemisms and, you know, all this pandering garbage. We're not doing that anymore, man. We're going to tell it like it is. That's what President Trump does. And what it does is it emboldens people like me. It emboldens this infusion of youth that's coming into the Republican Party. One of the biggest criticisms of the Republican Party is that it's a bunch of old white men and all they do is kowtow. But we have an infusion of youth and minority coming in. Did you know, Scott, that there are 30 plus black Americans running for Congress and Senate? I know a handful of them by name. Kim Klacik in Baltimore. I know you know Kim Klacik. You got Angela Stanton King in Atlanta. You got John James in Michigan. You got Lacey Johnson running against Ilhan Omar. You got
in Utah.
You've got I forget his name, but he's running against Maxine Waters in L.A.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Collins.
John James. I can't remember his first name, but he's running for Congress.
And all the women too.
And all of the women.
Ashley Hinson in Iowa, Nancy Mace in South Carolina's 1st congressional district, Karen Handel's running for re-election in Georgia's 6th district. You're right that I've never seen so many women, black Americans, gay Americans. See, the difference is Republicans and Democrats, the biggest difference is we truly don't judge you by your creed, by your color, by anything other than the content of your character, of your heart. Do you love our Constitution? Do you bleed red, white, and blue? Do you honor and salute and stand for our flag? That is how we judge you, by your character and by your actions, by your accomplishments. And we want you to know, listen, I don't care if you have green hair and it's a pixie cut and you are pierced from head to toe and you have more tattoos than I have fingers and toes. You have a place within this movement based on love.
Amen. And I second that. I don't care if your hair is green or blue. I don't care if you supported Bernie. Right. I don't care if you supported Bernie Sanders in the primary. If you love the United States of America and you're going to support President Trump, you have a home here. Why would we want to alienate potential voters by saying, oh, you're not like me, you don't think like me, you don't wear a MAGA hat? No, 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 no. We need to build a coalition of unified Americans. That's what this is about. It's about unity. If we're unified, we're going to keep our country. United we stand, divided we fall. Who wants to divide us? It's the Democrat Party, which is why I said abolish the donkey party. I mean, I know it's wishful thinking, but I mean, I'm just saying there needs to be some kind of significant change over there for there to be any kind of second party to form, really, because the two-party establishment, Democrats, Republicans, that has fallen by the wayside. Now we have this new movement. It's a President Trump movement, and I think it's even separate from the traditional Republican Party. Everybody that's running for office, all those 30 black Americans, they all support President Trump.
Yes, they do.
Right? They're not supporting the neocon warmongers of the past. They support actually getting things done. They support telling the truth, regardless of who it offends, and they support staunch freedom. Like, they are staunch supporters of freedom, independence, and the United States of America.
And I want to make an appeal. If you are watching at home and if you are a libertarian, or if you in 2016 voted Green Party or for Gary Johnson, I want to make an appeal directly to you, the voter, that President Trump is the man for you. If you support ending endless wars, if you support bringing our troops home, if you support the general philosophy that I don't care what you do in the privacy of your home, so long as you're not infringing on the rights of anybody else, then you have a place within this Republican Party. And I'm asking you to join our coalition and to vote for Trump on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. So please join with us and let's continue this revolution. That's what this is. We are reforming the Republican Party, and we are revolutionizing the Republican Party to include these libertarian ideals. And even look at me. I may not be a Green Party person, but I travel the country because I care about our environment, and I help to pick up trash, and I help to make America a cleaner and greener place. So just know, if you voted third party in 2016, I'm asking you to join this new, diverse, growing revolution and help make sure that we re-elect Donald Trump. It's going to be you that helps do this and get us over the top.
Yes, indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at my clock here. I was going to say we're minutes away from President Trump's speech. We are minutes away. It was supposed to be at 11 a.m. and he's clearly not here yet, but we appreciate everyone that's tuned in, everyone that supports us here at Right Side Broadcasting. If you're new, please support us by subscribing to us on YouTube. Hit the bell notification. If you're watching on Facebook, follow us there. Share this message. Get it out to your friends and family. Show people what's going on here. We're the only ones that are going to show you the crowd. We're going to show you the line. We're going to show you people as they're chanting 4 more years. Can we get these people here in the crowd here? Look at this crowd here. We got this big crowd of patriots here. Love to see it, man. See, we're the only news media up here that's going to show you this stuff. And this is new age media. We are new age media. We're going to supplant and upend the establishment corporate media that wants to lie on the president, that wants to smear his supporters, call it a white supremacist COVID super spreader event. We're not playing those games anymore, guys. Support us at RSBN. Go to rsbnetwork.com/donate if you want to support us financially. We got 8 days to go until the most important election of our lifetimes. And the best way to support us is to donate, because we have to get cameramen and correspondents to every single one of President Trump's rallies. He's got 3 today. This is the first of 3 today. He's got 3 tomorrow. And then he's got 2 on Wednesday. And then who knows how many he's going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and possibly even Tuesday. We're almost entirely viewer funded. So your donations allow us to follow this president all around the country and bring coverage of his events to you live. So you can go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, or you can mail a check to our physical address, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. Now, if I can get my glove off here and get my phone open, the rain has finally slowed down enough to where my screen won't be covered, and maybe, just maybe, I can read some super chats. We got one from, it looks like the name is in Mandarin or something, so I obviously can't read it, but I want to thank you for your super chat. I want to thank Missy Cerrone for her super chat. Thank you so much, Missy. Please, everyone watching right now, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to RSBN. Hit the bell notification so you do not miss President Trump's rallies. Please, it's important. I mean, if you care about the country, you'll support it. Because we are the only media up here. We are the most, I'm not going to say we're the only pro-Trump media up here, but we are absolutely, positively the most pro-Trump media up here. You see us up here with Make America Great Again shirts, hats. Let me take this hood off now. It's not raining anymore.
And you know what? One thing that's really interesting about this election that I found, Mike, is I believe in 2020, we're going to see the most amount of votes from the Asian community for Donald Trump and the Republican Party that we've seen in a very long time. You know, when I was in Gettysburg, I had members of the Chinese community come up to me, and they were very serious, and they looked me in the eye, and they said, thank you. They said, thank you for the work that you're doing, because like I talked about earlier, this isn't just about America. We truly are fighting for the world too. And Chinese Americans are going to be voting for Donald Trump because they understand what is at stake in this election. And they understand the stranglehold that China has had over America with trade deals. And that's why I love President Donald Trump, because finally, listen, I have to tell you the truth. I am not a free trader. I am a fair trader. And what that means is if China is tariffing us and they are taxing us and taxing our goods, but we are not tariffing them or taxing their products, we are losing out on billions of dollars. And what I love, President Trump has evened the playing field. He has cut the corporate tax. He has been tough on China. He has called out China for manipulating its currency. Nobody else has done that, has had that tough talk on China. Meanwhile, the Joe Biden family was selling out the Biden family name for Chinese cash. That is the biggest difference going in this election. If Joe Biden wins the election, China wins. If Donald Trump wins the election, America wins. See, listen, that's how good we're reading each other's minds. We're just that good.
Yep, America wins if President Trump wins. It's that simple. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we do need to get that to a soundbite. Apparently, our super chat was down for a little bit, so I couldn't read the super chats. But for those of you that have super chatted, I apologize I wasn't able to read it off because I couldn't see it. But I keep switching and taking my gloves off so I can read the chats. Let me see if they're up now. Okay, we're good to go now. So we got Missy, we got Candace Phillips, we got a new member, Aaron Green. Welcome, Aaron. Tracy says, out of Oregon, want to give a shout out to Trump. Keep up the good work. We appreciate you. Barb says, you guys are awesome. Love watching you too. We've got Doc Champa. Thank you for your super chat. And Lois Miller says, go Trump. Thank you, RSBN. No, thank you. Thank you, Lois, for supporting us. It is your support. It is your donations that allow us to cover President Trump's rallies. It is not cheap to fly multiple people across the country last minute. I mean, honestly, if you buy a plane ticket within 24 hours, they pretty much double the price. You know, hotels sometimes are booked up and you can only get the more expensive ones. Rental cars, sometimes you have to settle for the SUV because the more efficient car, the fuel efficient car is already reserved. So there's a lot that goes into it, especially with 8 days to go. We cannot leave anything to chance, which is why we are so grateful for all of you that support us. If our CEO wants to forward me the website donations, I'd happily read them out since we do have a little bit of time before President Trump arrives here. Let me see here. I believe we even have a split screen going right now of I can't pronounce it. Litlitz?
I think it's Lidditz.
Lidditz. Okay, Lidditz. Lidditz, PA is the next stop for President Trump, and there's already a crowd forming there. And PA, first of 3 stops in Pennsylvania today. President Trump is going to win. It's the Keystone State, correct?
And President Trump doesn't put a lid on his schedule. No lids. Hashtag no lids with President Trump. I mean, the man is doing 3 rallies in one day. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, I believe, has said that he's not doing any more in-person events for the rest of the election. So what is he going to do for 8 days? No campaigning? I mean, and then they're not even sending out Senator Harris she hasn't done pressers. She hasn't done anything with the media either. So I just don't understand what their campaign strategy is. I've never seen a political campaign act like this before. Have you?
No, I haven't. And speaking of Kamala Harris, she is uniquely unlikable. This woman is such a snob. She is a fraudster. Yeah. She is a liar. Yeah. She's a hypocrite. Yeah. She's a manipulator, a deceiver. She is the poster child of racial ambiguity. She was sworn in as the first Indian senator, but now she's on the Breakfast Club. She's trying to get this twang in her voice. She's trying to act black. It's so cringe. She wants to pander. And it's so insulting as a black American to think like, hey, I wear Timberland boots. Don't you want to vote for me? I smoked marijuana and I listen to Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Doesn't that make me cool? Doesn't that make you want to put me in power? She's really one of the worst candidates ever. I think she's like worse than Hillary. She's up there with Hillary as far as just her cringe pandering, her fakeness. She's a phony, a fraud, a liar. And for Joe Biden to pick her is just really shallow because he picked her because of her gender and because of her color. That's it. Those are the only 2 reasons. But that is the present-day Democrat Party. The only thing that matters to these people is your identity. Over here in this coalition of patriots, that is the least important thing about you. We care about what's in that God-given brain of yours. We care about your values, your beliefs, your talents, and your skills. That is what will determine your outcome of life, not government. Over there, where they want to replace God with government, they sell this idea of equity, right? They say that because there's inequality, there's inequity. But those 2 things do not correlate. They are not synonymous.
And I want to make it clear, the difference between Republicans and Democrats is we believe in equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. And I mean, look at myself. I started off as a dog walker. I believe that my life is the American dream, and that's because I was determined to succeed. I didn't buy into victimhood, and I worked my behind off. That is what makes America so great, that you can go from the doghouse to the White House. But I want to make something clear. California has a supermajority of Democrats. It's controlled by Democrats in the state assembly and the state senate and the governorship. And just today, I was talking about how in Los Angeles, we picked up 50 tons of trash in Los Angeles. 50. Now, these are the policies of the Democrats, that they ban straws, that they care about the environment, that they have Greta telling us that we need to clean up our act, yet their cities, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Houston, these are all cities that a conservative activist has had to go to clean them up. So really, when it comes to picking Senator Harris as his running mate, what does she have to show for her record? How has she actually helped Californians? Meanwhile, they give sanctuary status to illegal immigrants. They choose the legal immigrant community over the black community. The fact of the matter is neither Joe Biden nor Senator Harris have a record of success, either of them.
Exactly, and they support criminals over the law-abiding citizens. They want criminals let out of jail, and then they'll lock up the business owner during the pandemic. But the whole reason, their whole logic for letting the criminal out of jail is, well, we don't want them to catch the Rona. We want to keep them safe from the virus. But you business owner, if you want to open up your business, we're going to lock you up.
And I want to take it a step further. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to make this clear. To you, the viewer at home, never, ever forget that the Democrats close down your churches but want open borders. Never forget that the Democrats closed your schools but want open borders. Never forget that the Democrats closed your businesses and livelihoods but want open borders. The Democrat Party punishes law-abiding, American-loving citizens, but chooses illegal immigrants, chooses to reward people that are breaking our laws over we the American people. And I don't know about you, but I will never forget that. And more importantly, I voted in person and early straight ticket Republican.
That's right. And they love to drum up narratives that reinforce the oppression doctrine. They reward victimhood. They want you to see that there's virtue in you being a victim. But if you see yourself as an independent, sovereign individual, they will shame you. They want you to think it's bad, because how else could you depend on them unless they rip the rug out from underneath you, unless they force your business to close and then offer you a loan to bail your business out, right? That is just, I don't know how to describe it really, but it's so fraudulent and it's so transparent what they're doing. If they can force businesses to close and then offer you a loan, put you in an economic situation where your business might go under, well, then you're more likely to vote for Democrat for their handouts. That's what they need. That's why, and the way that they talk about socialism and how we can lift everyone up and everyone should have affordable health care. Who decides what's affordable? But that's a side note. The way that they sell socialism is they look to the Nordic model, but the Nordic model is more like the United States. We have a higher corporate tax rate than a lot of those countries like Sweden and Denmark. Also, they all pay equal amount of taxes. They also have a high level of social cohesion and a lot of trust in their government. The country over there, those countries over there, they don't demonize.
Homogenous.
They're homogenous. They have a lot of social fabric. Yeah, culturally homogenous. And also, they don't demonize their wealthy. They celebrate their wealthy. Over here, we demonize the rich. Why don't we look to the rich as beacons of hope? A lot of these people, like 50 Cent, for example, the dude got shot 9 times and he came from poverty to prosperity. That is a success story. We demonize the rich as if they didn't work hard to get it. And they're able to drum up these narratives to reinforce that oppression doctrine. Like, you're being oppressed, you can't make it because all these rich people are hogging up the wealth. They create the lack mentality, when in reality, anybody can make it here. You're an example. I'm an example. RSBN is an example of how you can grow, you can prosper. This is why people cross oceans to come here.
And we need to remember, anything that the government can give you can take away from you. That's why we want the smallest government as humanly possible. We want the most freedoms, the most opportunities for us locally at the state level. We need to limit the power of the federal government because, again, we've seen this during this lockdown. Ultimately, they can take everything away from us. We have to decentralize that power, and we need something that you and I talked about last time, is we need transparency and accountability. And that's why we need Donald Trump, because he's lifting that curtain. He's exposing not only the Democrats, but also the establishment status quo Republicans on the right, who I believe are as much to blame for the situation that we are in today. All I want, Mike, is I want somebody to look me in the eye, and if you make me a promise, you keep that promise. And that's why I love Donald Trump, and that's why he is the future of the Republican Party.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
So thank you very much, Allentown. Thank you very much, Allentown. I know it well. 8 days, you believe that? 8 days from now, we're going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we are going to win 4 more great years in the White House. I want to begin today by discussing an issue of existential importance to Pennsylvania, very, very important. Last week, Sleepy Joe Biden made perhaps the most shocking admission ever uttered in the history of presidential debates. In other words, he blew it. On live television, 91-9. Did you see that? 91. Did you know what that means? 91-9, but we won't talk about that. Further the fake news. Joe Biden confirmed his plan to abolish the entire U.S. oil industry. That means no fracking, no jobs, no energy for Pennsylvania families, Texas, all the other places. He wants to go wind. Let's go wind. Let's go have brownouts, blackouts all over Pennsylvania, all over the country. He wants to go wind. He wants to go with windmills that are made in Germany and China. And send big, big carbon into the air when they're making them. You know that, right? From a different continent, but that's okay. Biden's plan is an economic death sentence for Pennsylvania's energy sector. I mean, I think you all know that. Did you see it, though? Do you believe it? And even the anchor, who I thought did a very good job, by the way, Kristen, I thought she did a very good job. She said, why do you say that? Remember that? Why are you saying that? Why do you say that? He will eradicate your energy and send Pennsylvania into a crippling depression. Somehow that doesn't sound good, Mr. Congressman, does it? Huh? The Biden energy shutdown, and he wants to shut down the whole country. And we're rounding the turn. You know, all they want to talk about is COVID. By the way, on November 4th, you won't be hearing so much about it. COVID, 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 COVID. Today, let's talk about COVID all over Europe, right? Europe spiked. They don't talk about that. Now we're rounding the turn, and we have the vaccines coming out very soon, years ahead of schedule. If he would have done it like he did the H1N1 swine flu, one of the worst handled, that was an epidemic. It was a disaster. He had no idea what the hell he was doing, but you know that. The Biden energy shutdown would inflict deep pain and misery on Pennsylvania, mass layoffs, constant blackouts and brownouts, soaring gas prices. Nice to have that $2 gasoline, isn't it? Surging energy bills, no air conditioning in the summer, no heat during the winter, and no electricity during peak hours. Let's watch President Trump on television. I'm sorry, we won't be able to do it. The wind isn't blowing today, darling. We won't be able. No, it doesn't power those big factories that we're opening up all over the country. Biden's running mate, Kamala Harris. Did you see her last night on television with the laugh? Ha, ha, ha. She was laughing at a horrible question about her, and she just laughed. She found it so funny. Most liberal senator. She's the most liberal senator by far. She's more liberal than Crazy Bernie. Even sponsored the $100 trillion Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, no, I don't think so. The Green New Deal would be an economic disaster for our nation, certainly for this state. Biden and Harris have a pledge to join and rejoin the Paris, look, you know about Paris? The Paris Climate Accord, one of the great disasters of all time. Just call up France. How's Paris doing? Shipping your energy jobs to foreign polluters all over China, all over the rest of the world. And you know, it was hard bringing them back. We brought our jobs back. A lot of our jobs are coming back now. They're coming back now. You know, and speaking about jobs, I want to thank the people that own this plant. You know, you have a governor named Tom Wolf, I guess. Tom Wolf. This thing was set up just a few hours ago. That's why it's so incredible that people across the street trying to get it. This was set up because your governor made it almost impossible for us to find any site. Normally, we would have had an airport. We would have gotten in. We would have had it. I mean, this is really a nice place. No, I want to thank the trucking company. They're great. They're supporters. Well, we just found it a little while ago because they were shut out. We had a deal. It was a deal, and they broke the deal. Headed by Governor Tom Wolf, who's got your whole Commonwealth shut down. Whole Commonwealth is shut down. Although probably on November 4th it'll open. They'll announce on November 4th. Did you see the one governor said, no, I think we should be open by around November 4th. Oh, thank you. No, they think they're going to inflict harm in bad numbers. Our numbers are so good. Our comeback numbers are the best anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. But you know what? It does inflict tremendous harm on the people that are shut out of their jobs, that are going to lose their jobs with suicides and drugs and alcohol and all the problems. So Tom Wolf, next time give us a little notice, Governor. And I'll remember it, Tom. I'm going to remember it, Tom. Hello, Mr. President. This is Governor Wolf. I need help. I need help. You know what? These people are bad. We go out of our way, regardless, Republican, Democrat, when they have a problem. But he shut us out, and he tried shutting us out of two other venues. You know, we have 3 of these today in Pennsylvania. 3 of these. And these just came out, I have to say, because I watch in the fake news, there has never been anything like what's happening now. But these just came out. So Rasmussen just came out. Trump is leading. You know, that's been one of the most accurate polls. You don't read it. In fact, a pollster called us yesterday, said, you have really good numbers, but they won't accept them when we put them out. They don't put them out. Unless they're negative, the press doesn't put them out. Can you know? This is serious. And how about big tech? How about the Biden scandal? And they're not even covering it. They don't want to talk about it. And by the way, that's a real scandal. And the press doesn't want to write about it, except for the New York Post. The press won't write about it. And big tech won't take it. People have no idea what's going to happen in Pennsylvania. That I can tell you. I know Pennsylvania. Don't forget, I went to school in Pennsylvania. College, and I know it much better than he does.
You know, he's always talking about, I grew up, right? I grew up in Pennsylvania. He grew up nowhere. He didn't grow up. No, did you watch him on 60 Minutes last night? Did you see yesterday when he called me George? No, I don't know if I like George. Don't know. Not George. What a mess. What a mess. No, he called me George. I don't know if I should be insulted or happy about it. I'm sort of insulted. That's the first time that's happened to me in a long time. No, but the polls just came out. So let me tell you the real polls, okay? Because we feel we're winning almost easily, but you don't hear that. I watched television tape purposely to see what was going on. So it started, CNN is the worst. But I hear the guy, I hear AT&T is finally getting smart, and they're going to fire the head of CNN. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Zucker. But you know what? Look at this. So Rasmussen was very accurate last time, like one of the top 2 or 3. Rasmussen, Trump approval rating, 53 and 52, 53%. So in another poll, we're leading in Nevada. That's nice. We're 1 up in Nevada. We're way up in Texas, despite what you keep hearing. 5 up in Texas. I think we're much more than that if you listen to the governor of Texas, who's great. In Ohio, we're way up by 4 or 5 points, 5 points. In Florida, we have it down as 4 up in Florida. That's a lot for Florida. So in Florida, Rasmussen, that's a Rasmussen poll. These are all different. That's a Rasmussen, 50 to 46, we're +4 in Florida. You don't hear these numbers, right? You hear these guys get on television. Florida is going to be very tough. No, we're winning in Florida. We have crowds. We're winning in Florida. But you don't hear it. We're nicely up, 5 up in Georgia, landmark. It's called landmark. 5 up in Georgia. You don't hear that. I heard today, he's losing in Georgia. No, we're not losing in Georgia. We're going to win by much more than 5. In Arizona, we're nicely up, really nicely up. Very good. We're winning big in Iowa, but we should be with what I do for the farmers. Got them $28 billion from China. In Montana, we're so far up, they shouldn't even have the election. Likewise, in Utah, so far up, we're +12, +15. And in West Virginia, we're 20 up, 20 points up. These just came out. They came out today. And then in a head-to-head with Sleepy Joe Biden on a national basis. I am really into the states because, you know, you run. Remember Hillary used to complain? But I never did a national. You know, I think winning the vote, overall vote, is almost easier than the Electoral College. But you remember last year she'd complain. She used to campaign in the wrong states. The next, but they probably learned. But in the national poll, we're leading against Sleepy Joe Biden. We're leading. And that's a Rasmussen poll. Head-to-head. No, we're leading head-to-head against Sleepy Joe. So I just thought I'd do that. Remember in the old days, 4 years ago, I used to read the polls. I'd drive them crazy. And they'd say, oh, that's not right. I turned out to be right. You know? So I want you to hear it. It's on television now. It's the only way we get it on because they don't put it on. They're fake and they're corrupt people. They're fake. They're corrupt. I mean, I never watched CNN, but I had to see it this morning to see. So I watched them for a little while. I watched MSDNC, owned by Comcast, right? MSDNC. And you watch these polls and you say, oh, this is terrible. They're fake polls. They're fake. They're total fake. These are real polls. We're going to win in Florida. We're going to win in Pennsylvania, I think. I mean, look at this venue. You have thousands of people across the street that couldn't get in. They couldn't get in. Because, honestly, Secret Service wasn't that well equipped. They didn't expect, because we just set this place up. We just set it up. And think of it. So we have a venue, and the governor that counts the ballots, right? The governor counts the ballots. And we're watching you, Governor, very closely in Philadelphia. We're watching you. A lot of bad things. A lot of bad things happen there with the counting of the votes. We're watching you, Governor Wolf, very closely. We're watching you. But the same guy that makes it impossible for us to get a venue, we just got this thing literally hours ago. And to have people across the street trying to get in is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Which tells you, and I don't know if you saw the Ohio rally, we had 35, 40,000 people. Thank you very much. Nah, I forget it. Thank you. Now, one of them had a guest this morning. I really watched it for this reason. I mean, I had to look. It started off, COVID. Don't go and vote. Don't go and vote. You know who's not voting? The Democrats. They're not voting. You know, if you look at some of these early polls, so we're supposed to be way down in the initial week because it's the fake ballots, right? The phony ballots that are all crooked as hell. And then we catch up. But we have states where we're leading in early voting. That's trouble because we win everything from here on in. We win everything. Just get out there and vote, or if you have an absentee, send it in. But you know what? There's nothing like getting out and voting. I did it 2 days ago. I went and voted. And it was so good. You know, I went in Florida, at Palm Beach. I said, okay, I'm here to vote. And the woman was fantastic. Sir, do you have identification? I said, just happen to have my passport. Sir, do you have any additional identification? I do. She said, thank you very much. And she was good. I mean, she was doing what you have to do. She was good. She was totally good. I hear this guy back there. So she did a great job. And you know what? It was a beautiful thing because there's no way you can cheat. I mean, that. Then they said, here, do this, and here, sir, you can, you know, they give you a booth, you sit down, you do what you have to do. You get up, they fold it, they put it in, then you put it in the machine yourself. They don't want to touch it. It was so professional. There's no way you can cheat with these ballots. Who's sending them? Who's receiving them? Who's bringing them back? Who's signing them? It's ridiculous. It's the only way we can lose, in my opinion, is massive fraud. And that's what's happening, because all over the country, you're seeing it. Thousands and thousands of ballots. How about the military ballots that were thrown into a garbage can with the name Trump on it? So all we can say is law enforcement is watching Nevada. It's watching Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, by the way, but Philadelphia in particular, because they had a lot of strange things happen over the years in Philadelphia. And we're watching you, Philadelphia, and we're watching at the highest level. And we're watching the Democrat governor who's got his state shut down, a great state, North Carolina, he's got it shut down. We're watching North Carolina. We're watching Michigan. Oh, that's another one. We're leading by 2 points in Michigan, right? Hadn't been won in decades until I won it 4 years ago. We're leading in Michigan, and we should be. I brought a lot of car business in, brought a lot of car plants in. They hadn't had a plant built in 42 years or something. And we brought a lot of plants in. You hear that, Chet? You hear that? That's a brand new, beautiful F-35 jet. Stealth. That's why you can't see it. That's super stealth, actually. Joe Biden is a diehard globalist who wiped out your steel mills. You know it better than almost any place in this country. Closed down your factories, kill your coal jobs, outsourced your industries, and supported every terrible and disastrous trade deal. For the whole, for 47 years, this guy's been there. You saw in the debate, did anybody watch the debate by any chance? But did you see? Here's my standard answer. Joe, you've been there for 47 years. Why didn't you do it? Right? And you left 3.5 years ago, Joe, so it's not like it was 25 years ago. You left Why didn't you do it, Joe? You know, he's talking about, oh, I would have done this with the pandemic, and yet he had the worst. His chief of staff said that he and himself, the chief, they were grossly incompetent. They had no idea what to do. And now they're telling us how to handle a much more lethal problem. Amazing. I wonder if that chief of staff is still around. You know, he probably said it when he assumed Joe couldn't win, right? You know, when Joe ran, because he was always 1% Joe. We used to call him 1% Joe. And then he ran, and now he's at 50%. You know where he's at 50%. Right up there, he's at 50. And he ends up winning. Tell me, is politics a strange game? He was a cheerleader for NAFTA, which was a disaster for your state, and he enthusiastically voted for China's entry into the World Trade Organization, decimating your manufacturing and enriching China. It's really what made China. He voted for it. Pennsylvania lost almost 50% of its manufacturing jobs after Biden's NAFTA and China disasters. And it wasn't only him, but it was the thinking. That was the thinking. That's what they want. Decade after decade, vote after vote. Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, has betrayed Pennsylvania. How the hell can you vote for him? Is this a serious... How can you vote for this guy? Congressman, how do you vote for this guy? Look. He almost got through the debate. I wouldn't say he was Winston Churchill, but it was okay. And then we got him in the last question. I said, you mean you're against oil? Yes, I'd wean it out. I said, Pennsylvania, Texas, are you watching? You have no choice, okay? If you stop fracking, which he's against, you know, remember? He'd say, I'm against fracking. I will ban fracking. He did this for over a year. We only have about 100 clips. We're going to play some of them for you, but here's the thing. I don't want to play them all. We don't have enough time in the day. But you don't have to take my word for it, because you know what? Because it's Pennsylvania, I did a special television, like Cecil B. DeMille. I did a really special little treatment for you. The late, great Cecil B. DeMille. Here's Joe on two things, security and fracking. You got to believe, you're not even going to believe it. Where is your screen? The screen costs us a fortune, so I hope you enjoy it.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA. I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
When you ran for president and when Barack Obama ran for president, you both said you would renegotiate NAFTA. You didn't.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
How exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
A rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise. China is a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion.
China is not our enemy.
We talk about China as our competitor. We should be helping.
The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre.
The idea that they are our competition, they're going to beat us, is bizarre.
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks.
China's not a problem.
Allowing China into the World Trade Organization, which you supported, extending most favored nation status to China, which you supported, those steps allowed China to take advantage of the United States by using our own open trade deals against us.
No.
Do you think in retrospect that you were naive about China?
No.
Today, we're finally ending the NAFTA nightmare and signing into law the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Very special.
Listen, it's hard to overstate the importance of the USMCA. This is the single biggest
bipartisan legislative victory for this president and this administration. It is a huge deal.
Wage growth is better than it has been since 2009. That means it is better than it has been for 7 out of 8 of the years that Obama was president.
The new USMCA has powerful protections to keep auto manufacturing jobs. Since the election, we've created 41,000 brand new motor vehicle and parts jobs.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA.
I
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. No more, no new fracking. I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
But like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I have one final question.
Would he close down the oil industry?
It falls.
Or would you close down the oil industry?
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
A big statement.
That is a big
In
statement.
terms of business, that's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
So, will you remember that, Pennsylvania, please? By the way, who's voted here so far? Oh, that's good, because, you know, Pennsylvania is a very late voting state, which I like, actually. For obvious reasons, I like that. So that's also, okay, who has not voted yet? Who doesn't intend to vote? Who's not going to vote? Oh, you better say that. You'd be in big trouble in this court. So who is going to vote for Trump? See, that's why I brought all that expensive equipment, because it's easier than me saying it, right? No, it's great. That's something brand new, just a couple of days, and we only bring it to certain locations, okay? And even though we got shut out of our main by your governor, but we brought it here. But isn't that very descriptive? Isn't that better than me telling you he said this and he said that? Yeah, there it is. He also said, by the way, he's going to cut your Social Security. You saw that yesterday, right? In 2016, Pennsylvania voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as your president who is finally putting America first. America first. With your vote, we will continue to fight the American. Look, we're going to fight. We are going to, ready? We are going to fight for the American workers, and we're going to lower drug prices, support your police. We're going to support your police. We're going to protect your Second Amendment, which is totally under siege, but don't worry about it. As long as I'm your president, you don't have to worry about your Second Amendment. Look at what I've done so far. It's been under siege, I can tell you that. We're going to defend our borders. They don't want to have borders. They want to have open borders. You know, the wall is almost complete, right? They want to have, and we have the strongest border we've ever had. Right now, they want to have open borders. And if you have open borders, you don't have a country. You don't have borders, you don't have a country. Thank you. Yeah, almost finished. Very shortly, it's going to be finished. We just hit 400 miles of wall. That's a lot. And this is a wall That's exactly what Border Patrol and all of the law enforcement people wanted. We built them. I said, could you take it easy? This is getting a little expensive. Load it up. It's loaded up with equipment and wires and everything else, in addition to the wall. Because as you know, the Democrats say, walls are obsolete, right? I said, no, walls and wheels will never be obsolete. Walls and wheels. Everything else is going to be obsolete. And we want to ensure that more products are proudly stamped with the phrase, that beautiful phrase, made in the USA, right? Made in the USA. We are going to deliver record prosperity, epic job growth. We're doing it already. 11.4 million jobs over the last few months. There's never been a time in our history where we put that many people to work that quickly. Groundbreaking therapies and safe vaccines that quickly end the pandemic. It's ending anyway. We're rounding the turn. It's ending anyway. But the vaccines are going to be incredible. They'll be very quick. If somebody else were president, you'd get a vaccine in about 4 years from now. Normal life, that's what we want, right? Normal life. We want normal life. We just want normal life. It's happening very quickly. And next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. I gave working families record-setting tax cuts, biggest tax cut in the history of this country. And this guy's running on tax increases. I never saw it. I said it yesterday where I was with a great group. I was in New Hampshire. We should do very well there, unless you watch television. He will not win. Then you get polls like, you're leading, and I say, why do they keep saying that? Because you know what they are? They're suppression polls. They make you depressed. And by being depressed, you say, darling, we really like our president a lot, but let's just go have dinner, and then we'll come home, and we'll come home early and watch the results. And that didn't happen 4 years ago. You said, darling, he may not win based on television, but let's go vote anyway. And then they had, in probably the most exciting evening, maybe in the history of television, right? Sure beats any sporting contest. Even ESPN admitted that. There's never been anything like this. Then you went, Donald Trump has won the state of Florida, right? Remember? Then they said, Donald Trump has just won the state of Ohio. So, with Ohio, we went for a year. You have to win Ohio. You cannot win unless you win Ohio. And they go, Donald Trump has just won the state of Ohio. But here was the problem. Won by 8 points. This was not that was like the biggest victory. They couldn't believe it. And they said, there's something going on here, but I'm sure this is just, remember with the hand, John King, the hand, shake it. Hand started getting a little shaky. No, it got a little bit shaky. And then we won North Carolina. We won, a place called Pennsylvania. Remember? There is no way, beginning of the evening, there is no way for Donald Trump to get to 270, right? And they were right. I got to 306. 306 to 223. 306 to 223. That was that was some evening. And you know what? I'll tell you what. I hate to say it, and I never thought I'd say it because what happened there was legendary. This is this is going to be the most important election in our country's history. So get out and vote. In my second term, I will cut middle-class taxes even more. We have a big tax cut. And Sleepy Joe Biden has pledged the biggest tax hike in history. Did anybody see 60 Minutes last night? Did anybody see 60 Minutes? Which is a total joke of a show, but you saw I released the thing early, so they got the full. But it was okay. But did you see his performance on that show? The only thing almost as bad was Kamala with the laugh. Ha ha, that's so funny. Ha ha ha. She kept laughing. I said, is there something wrong with her too? She will not be the first woman president. You can't let that happen. Can't let that happen. No, I said, is there something wrong with her? She kept laughing at very, serious questions. But how about this? Mike was great. But how about this? They asked me, she says, are you ready for tough questions? I thought she was kidding, you know, because how do you say? I said, just treat me fair. No. This is tough questions. And I said, they do. And I said, let's see what you have. And it was just question, kill. Always going for the kill. She's a Zippo, but always going for the kill. And then did you see the interview with him? Oh, it was so soft. They're trying to protect. They try so hard. That's right. You saw the other day, he's walking out with ice cream. Huh? Mr. Vice President, what flavor is it? I think it's vanilla and chocolate. I said, I don't get questions like that, right? Now, Pennsylvania gets it. By the way, we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. You got to get out there. You got to win. Big deal, right, Congressman? This election is a choice between a Trump super recovery. We're having a super V, it's called. Nobody even thought. We are doing numbers, and wait till you see that number on GDP. I don't know what it is. The Fed said it may be a 35% increase in GDP. The Atlanta Fed. They came out last week. You saw that? I'll take 25% right now. I'll take 15 right now. I think the record was like 7 or 8. But they said it could be 35%. You see car sales through the roof. Housing starts through the roof. There's great things going on. But a tax increase by Biden, all the things he wants to do, regulations, he wants to put back all the regulations which were terrible. It would take 20 years to get a highway approved. 20 years. A job killer is right. It's a job killer. So you'd have that against a Biden depression. Let me tell you, if he gets in with what he wants to do, you will have a depression the likes of which we've never seen in this country outside of perhaps 1929. It's a choice between a Trump boom or a Biden lockdown. He wants to lock down the country again. No, we understand the disease. Well, you guys, I don't even talk to you. You're already locked down. Are you going to ever open up? Congressman, are you going to get this guy, this clown, to open it up? Wolf? Make sure he can't get a site. Make sure when the president comes into Pennsylvania, make sure he can't get a site. He cannot get a site. I don't want him here. We had 1. They shut it down. We had 2. They had 3. But I like this place. This is quite intimate. You know? My guys did a good job at about 4 hours' notice. They had like... No, but think of it, though. I said it before. So he doesn't want us to have a site. Now, freedom of speech, right? Doesn't want us to have a site. But this is the guy that's counting our ballots? Doesn't work. It doesn't work. So be very vigilant and watch. Be poll watchers. Watch. Did you see where they fought us because they didn't want poll watchers? They took us to court. And we had a bad decision. We had a judge, this judge. So we'll appeal it. But this judge, obviously, I won't get too into that. But he said, no, you can't have poll watchers. So he's saying we can't even watch as they count the ballots. But we're going to appeal it, and we'll end up winning. We'll end up winning. Can you believe it? We can't have poll watchers, the judge said. They fought us on that. They didn't want people watching them count. Who ever heard of a thing like this? Before I came along, nobody would have sued. That's why Romney got almost 0. You know, Romney in Philadelphia, remember, he got almost 0 votes. How do you get 0 votes in a city? But we watch, and we'll sue, and we'll keep doing it, and we'll keep having law enforcement right alongside of us. If Joe Biden and his Democrat socialists are elected, they will delay the vaccine, delay therapies, prolong the pandemic, close your schools. Your schools have to open and shut down our country. Guy doesn't have a clue. This guy doesn't have a clue. Have you seen what this, I mean, we can't play with the country. The only thing I can tell you for sure, President Xi from China, President Putin from Russia, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, and I could name 40 others, they're sharp as a tack. They don't want to deal with Sleepy Joe. One of them said to me, one of the leaders said, well, I hope you win because we don't want to deal with somebody that sleeps all the time. Do you believe that? No, he just announced the lid. He announced another lid. You know, and he's not, you know, somebody could say, oh, this is brilliant. It's prevent defense. First of all, did you ever see prevent defense? It always loses. A team shuts down the other team for 3.5 quarters. They're leading by 6. Then they go prevent defense. They lose. All the time, right? 2 touchdowns scored on them. They shut a team down for the whole game. Then they go, let's go prevent. Well, I don't know if he's doing that. I don't think so. I think he's doing it because he can't answer questions. Really. When these clowns back here, bad, corrupt people, when they ask him questions, he cannot answer the simplest question. How about where they gave him questions on a teleprompter? They said, here are the questions, and they wrote out the answers to him, and he's responding. Can you imagine? I have the press here. Sir, what about this? What about that? What about... I won't tell you some of the tough ones because there are some questions that never work out well, no matter how you answer them. They can make whatever, you know, they'll take the answer that could be perfect and they'll make, so they'll ask a question and they said, let's see, oh, well, that means they gave them the questions. Who ever heard of this before? And then the way the tech fakers closed, Section 230, anybody? They closed down because the government gave them special protection. The way they closed down anybody, they banned the New York Post from being on. Can you believe it? The New York Post, 4th largest paper. No, it's amazing. In an interview that aired last night, Biden said he opposes letting young Americans resume their lives, even though most are at extremely low risk. 99.99. Now, as an example, I had it, and here I am. But my wife had it. First Lady had it. But the legendary Barron Trump had it. They say, sir, your son Barron tested positive. I said, oh, that's terrible. Like 14 minutes later, how's Barron doing? Oh, he's better. He's fine. Because they're stronger than us. They have an immune system. I don't know what the hell it is, but how's he doing? 15 minutes later, how's he doing? He's fine, sir. He's fine. Barron, are you feeling okay? Nothing wrong with me, Dad. I think he had the sniffles, barely. 99.98% of those under the age 50 fully recover, but Sleepy Joe wants to keep the whole country locked down, keep them in their homes while letting rioters and looters run wild. You know, we call these protests, this is not a meeting, we call them protests. You know why? Because the only thing you can do in Pennsylvania is a protest. You can't go to church. You can't pray to your God. You can't be with your pastors, your priests, your rabbis. You can't be, none of that. You can't do anything. You can't go shopping. You can't open your stores. But if you want to protest and burn the hell out of your city, no problem, you can do that. So when I was told a couple of months ago about Pennsylvania and others, Minnesota, we're going to win too. You know, we're going to win Minnesota because we saved Minneapolis. I sent in the National Guard. Took about a half an hour, but we're going to win that. But when you think about it, you can't do anything. And then they have this little clause, unless you're protesting. I said, good. So these are no longer rallies. They are friendly protests. When the China virus arrived, we moved heaven and earth to fight the disease. We banned travel from China and Europe. Sleepy Joe didn't want to. He said, oh, you shouldn't do that. You're xenophobic. Right? He called me racist, too. He called me everything. That was in January. 2 months later, he still thought he was right. And then he had to apologize. And then he runs, and then he said, Trump should have done it earlier. Except he would, no, think of it. How does he get out of that one? And the fake news doesn't want to report that. So in January, I wanted to do it. But in March, he thought I should have never done it. Same with Pelosi. She was dancing in the streets. Nancy Pelosi. Crazy Nancy. Crazy. She's crazy as a bedbug. How about when she went to the beauty parlor and the woman that owned the beauty parlor is a Trump supporter? Can you believe it? Crazy Nancy. Ah, what a group. We have a good chance of taking back the House, I'll tell you. We have a good chance. Because she's crazy. We airlifted medical supplies, built hospitals from scratch. slashed red tape, pioneered groundbreaking therapies. I wish Cuomo in New York would have used the convention center for seniors. You know, if Cuomo would have used the convention center for seniors and the big ship, you know, we sent the big hospital ship in, sitting there practically empty all the time. If he would have used the ship and if he would have used the convention center for seniors, you would have had no problem there. We reduced the fatality rate 85%. Think of that. That's because of what we've come up with over the last little while. As I said before, here I am, right? And saved over 2 million American lives. So when this first came, people were projecting that it could be as bad as 2.2 million, right? I think we saved by shutting down, by doing what we did, by learning the disease, and now we have therapies, therapeutics, we have all of the different things, so vaccines come. I really think we saved 2 million lives. They never say that. The fake news will never say that. And we will deliver 100 million doses of a safe vaccine before the end of the year. Seniors will be first in line for the vaccine because they're the most vulnerable, as you know. We learned that. We must take the virus seriously. We must keep our people safe, but we must not give in to panic and fear. They want me to say, everybody, oh, please. We don't want to do that. Oh, happy birthday, darling. Most importantly, we're protecting the elderly and those with underlying conditions with extreme vigilance. This has been my top priority from the beginning. So we understand this horrible disease sent by China, came over by China. Remember that. Don't forget that, please. I will break through every Oh, do they want Sleepy Joe to win? Does China want Sleepy Joe to win? They own him. They own Sleepy Joe. Did you see his email where they want $10 million a year for introductory purposes? You know who they're going to introduce him to, Sleepy Joe? So the son never made 10 cents. All of a sudden, Biden becomes vice president. Now he's making millions of dollars a year. It's unbelievable. And Biden got a lot of it. Look, he got 10%, right? It went to the big man. I don't consider him a big man, but it went to the big man, 10%. And the press doesn't want to talk about it. Doesn't want to. But we won't rest until we eradicate this disease once and for all. I'm telling you, it's happening. We will vanquish the virus. We will overcome the pandemic. And we will emerge better, stronger, and more unified than ever. And by the way, there are people who want to get out, and there are people that feel more comfortable staying at home. That's okay, stay. Don't feel that, stay, it's okay. But if Biden and the Democrat socialists are elected, they will raise your taxes to a level that you've never seen before. Quadruple. He's the only candidate in history whose primary platform is, I will raise your taxes. Can you believe this? I'm running against this. I am running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. I am. I really believe that. And think of it. And I have to be very careful the way I say this. You know why? If I say, if I lose, they go back. We have breaking news. President Trump thinks he's going to lose. They did it once before. You know, I told the same little anecdote, and they go back and they'll say, President Trump thinks he's going to lose. So I have to be very careful. But can you even imagine losing to a guy like this? Actually, I wish he was a good and even a great candidate, because if something happened, you feel a little better. But could you imagine? He can't remember my name. Now, I'm not that big of an ego guy. He should be able, you know, I'm the candidate, like, that's good candidate, and I happen to be president. He could not remember my name yesterday. This is what you're putting in office. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President Biden will be doing a lid today. No, I hear he's doing the lid till Thursday. Hey, media, is it till Thursday he's doing the lid? Thursday. In other words, he's taken 40% of his campaign. He's going to lid. I don't know. Look, you know what? You could run, see this beautiful, whatever the hell it's made out of, plastic, right? See this beautiful thing? You could run that. You got the Democrats, You got the fake news media as their partner, and you have big tech. They're all partners. And then you have the rhinos. You have the rhinos. You have the bad Republicans. You have the sicko rhinos, right? That I've beaten so badly over the years. You know the rhinos, the people that do the ads and stuff? Every one of those guys just about I've beaten because they all represented a client in the primaries. And instead of saying, hey, he did a good job, he's a smart guy, he did a great job, they said, let's go against him. But every one of those guys, take a look, real garbage, not smart people. But he wants to terminate religious liberty, destroy the suburbs. He'll destroy. I am saving the suburbs. I'm getting rid of a regulation. I'm getting rid of a regulation that will move a project next to your beautiful house. Congratulations. Do you like having a nice project next to your house? I don't think so. And with it comes plenty of crime. That's why they keep saying, we don't know, we think he's not doing well with suburban women. I think I'm doing great with suburban women. I am saving the suburbs. I'm saving the suburbs. How can I do badly? Look, here's what I know about suburban women. First of all, they're great. They love our country, but here's what I know. They want two things. They want to leave their house alone. They don't want a 5-story project next to them, or could be higher. They want to leave their house alone, very important. And you know what else? They want security, okay? They don't want to have Antifa and anarchists running through this race, okay? So if they agree with what I just said, I have a feeling they're going to be voting for Trump. It was the same time last time. Remember, they said, he will not get the women's vote. He will not get the women's vote. And then at the end of the evening, you remember how great I did? Right? One of my best group, women. So I said, am I that bad? Am I that bad? He will not receive the women's vote. You know, Jim, this should be over very quickly. Donald Trump, at that time, it was just Donald, no president. Donald Trump will not be able to get the women's vote. At the end of the evening, they said, man, did he do well with the women's vote. What the hell happened? Right? So true. And then Biden's going to pack the Supreme Court with radical justices who will shred your Second Amendment and pro-life and so many other things. He will shred it. To defend our God-given freedoms. How do you like Amy, by the way? Isn't Amy great? I nominated Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court of the United States. And tonight she will be confirmed by the Senate and become the newest member of the Supreme Court. It's a big deal. He wants to pack the court, maybe 16, maybe 18, maybe 20. Why don't you put a couple of hundred people in there? He wants to pack up the court with radical left judges. And I've been saying, I'd go a step further. I have a list, 45 great people, great people. They believe in a thing called the Constitution, you know, little things like that. He's got to tell us who he might put on, because you can't vote for him unless you know. Because you can't have radical left judges who are looking to destroy our country. This election day, the people of Pennsylvania must stop the anti-American radicals delivering Joe Biden and the far left. You have to do this. A thundering defeat. You have to deliver them a thundering, beautiful, big, solid defeat. You better get out there and vote. You know, when I saw the few hands of the people that voted, that's in Pennsylvania, for some reason, you always vote very late. I guess you're like me. You feel like voting in a booth, pressing a little button, right? Having somebody check to see that it really is you. There is something nice about it, right? But no, but Pennsylvania, I think more than any other place, they want to vote late. So I'm really happy to see this, because you know what? A lot's been learned in the last few days. The debate learned a lot. We learned a lot about fracking, about energy, about the fact that he's not all there. No, that debate was important. It had a lot like Super Bowl type ratings, right? I'm glad they didn't tell me that before I went on stage. But that debate was great, and we learned. Other things we learned when this Savannah Guthrie, who is just terrible. No, she was coming out of her chair as she was asking. She was crazed. She was great. And I did a nice job. Savannah, take it easy. Just relax. Just relax. Don't let the hatred show. But we learned a lot. You learned a lot, and I'm glad you're getting ready to vote. And we've got to blow them out. This is the whole ball game. We got to blow them out. And maybe, above all else, Joe Biden, as you know, is a corrupt politician. They've known that for a long time. Now, they'll never put that on air. They will say, cut the cameras. He called Joe Biden corrupt. Cut. We have to protect Joe. You know, they have big benefits with Joe. If Joe gets in, they get a lot of benefits that they won't get with me. He wants to destroy your energy jobs in Pennsylvania while his own son collected $183 a month. $183,000 a month. So Hunter has no energy experience. He has no job. He has no income. His father becomes vice president, and here's just a few of the things he gets. $183,000 a month. Would anybody like that job? For a very bad type reputation, big energy company from Ukraine, right? He gets $3.5 million from Russia, from the wife of the mayor of Moscow. $3.5 million. What the hell did he do for that? He had no income, no job, no nothing. And then come the beauties. He got $1.5 billion to manage because he's a great manager of money. He had no job, no money, no nothing. $1.5 billion to manage, which is millions and millions of dollars from China. I said to a friend of mine, the biggest on Wall Street, very smart guy, I said, is that possible to get that? He said, it's not possible for my firm to get it. He got one, and it took him approximately 10 minutes in dealing with the Chinese. And then they were going for the big one, $10 million a year for introductory purposes. And when I say it, they go, but you have no proof. No, we do. We have stuff all over. But then they have a new excuse. Russia. It was Russia. Right, here we go again. 3 years in it. Adam Schiff, the watermelon head, right? Upon information, I believe that the laptop from hell was created by Russia. I'll tell you. Boy, some of these foreign countries, they must think, shifty shift, they must think we are nuts. Think of it. After going through all that, no collusion, they spent $48 million, no collusion, by people that hated me. If they had a stamp that had an R on it, they would have said it's collusion. Smart people, 18 crazy Democrats that were smart, vicious, violent, no collusion. 48 million they spent. And now we hear about the laptop from hell that he brought in to be fixed. He forgot that was a very expensive repair job. He didn't pick it up. By the time he picked it up, it was too late. But here's the thing, and they say it's Russia, Russia, Russia. I hope does anybody here believe it was Russia? You know who doesn't believe it even more than you is the fake news media, but they'll write it all the time. It's a con job. It was the greatest crime in the history of our country. And this could be the second. We caught them spying on my campaign. It was a treasonous act, and we caught them. We have them. Let's see what happens. You know, we have very nice people. They don't want to do anything before the election. Very nice people. It's okay to do it to me, but it's not okay to do it to other people. If Biden wins, China wins, and if China has anything to do with this whole deal, if he wins, let me tell you, China will own the United States of America. They will own it. When we win, you win, Pennsylvania wins, and America wins. We're going to have a big victory. I don't think China likes me too much. You know, I've charged them tens of billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars in taxes and in all sorts of things, tariffs. And I gave $28 billion to the farmers. There aren't a lot of farmers here, I guess, right? Are you a farmer? Did you get a check? He's a farmer. I got one farmer here. But I gave it to the farmers because they were targeted by China. $28 billion, 2 years, 12 and 16. $28 billion I gave to our farmers because they were targeted. Nobody else would do that. What you would like is I charged a big tax on the dumped steel, right? They were dumping steel all over the place, destroying your steel companies. I put a 25% tariff on that, and your steel companies started doing well again. It was very nice. Sleepy Joe won't do that. In fact, Sleepy Joe said, you know, we made a very good deal with China. Unfortunately, the ink wasn't dry before the plague came in. But I never took the tariffs off. Nobody understands that. Never took it off. I wouldn't take those tariffs off. Sleepy Joe said, one of the first things I do is take the tariffs off. Oh, do you think China would like to see him get in? Boy, oh boy. They would love to see it. If I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. If I don't always play by the rules of the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you harder than anyone ever before. So we have a couple of warriors here. They're great people. They're congressmen, and man, did they fight for me. Congressman Dan Muser. Dan, thank you very much, Dan. A former congressman, I'm sure you never heard of him. His name is Lou Barletta. And Lou Barletta is strongly against taking the statues of Christopher Columbus down. Right? Would you say that's right? Lou's not a big fan of that, right? And congressional candidate who is supposed to be fantastic and a star, Lisa Scheller. Good. Good. That's great, Lisa. And somebody who's done a fantastic job, campaign chair, Bernie Comfort. Bernie. Hey, Bernie, how are we doing? Looks good. Looks very good. Harder to judge because, you know, you go in so late, but it's looking good. The places where they're casting and where they're casting their vote, that's not any more polling, you sort of know. They are really looking good. Bernie, you got to win. You don't win, how far are you so fast? You have no idea. I especially want to recognize the incredible truckers for Trump who are here tonight. Truckers. The truckers for Trump. They're incredible people, actually. I don't know how they do it. Those are long hours. Driving down those highways, huh? That's long. That's not easy. And we got him some pretty good legislation that other people wouldn't get him because they just don't do those things. But we got him some pretty good legislation. So thank you very much, fellas. We appreciate it. And the women and the men. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in United States history. My opponent's insane immigration plan would eliminate U.S. borders entirely by implementing nationwide catch and release. They want to have catch. You know what catch and release is? You catch them. They're a murderer, they're a rapist, and you release them. You know where you release them? Into our country. Then Biden, at the debate, he said, no, it's okay, because they come back for court. Nobody comes back. They don't come back. They don't. No, I ended catch and release. I didn't like catching a murderer and releasing him. No, that wasn't. We keep them out. We're keeping them out. You can come into our country, but you have to come in legally, and you have to come in through merit. His plan would also make every community into a sanctuary city for violent criminals. Somebody like your governor, Tom Wolf, would probably love it. You got to speak to him about this. You can't do this kind of stuff. Called freedom of speech, right? The Biden-Harris plan would also increase refugees coming into our country by more than 700%. It would be the highest level anywhere in the world. That's Bernie. That's crazy Bernie. They pledged to terminate all national security travel bans, opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. No, thank you. If you don't mind, Joe, no, thank you. You saw what happened a few days ago in Paris, right? You saw that horrible attack. I'm keeping the terrorists, jihadists, and violent extremists the hell out of our country. Is that okay? Do the truckers agree? Do the truckers agree? I think so. I think I have the truckers vote. That's nice truck. By the way, nice trucks. You think I could hop into one of them and drive it away? I'd love to do it. Just drive the hell out of here. Just get the hell out of this. I had such a good life. My life was great. And then I said, let's do this, darling. This will be a lot of fun. But you know what? I'm so happy with it because nobody has ever done so much in the first 3.5 years. No administration. We invested $2.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars. See, now Biden would say 2.5 million, 2.5 thousand. Thank you. And I love you too. Thank you. I guess that's why we're all doing it together, right? When you get right down to it. We have a great country. We have to save our country. Most important election. But we invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military, and we saved a thing called the Philadelphia shipyard. Have you ever heard of it? We saved it. Anybody work there? We saved the Philadelphia shipyard. We didn't want to lose it. We also passed VA choice and VA accountability. Nobody said it was possible for the vets. And we just got a 91% approval rating from the vets, the highest ever. Remember, for years, you'd always see vet stories, how badly they were treated. Now you go see a doctor, we pay the bill. If you can't, because we have great doctors there, actually. But a lot of times it would take weeks before you could see a doctor. And now you go to a private doctor, we pay the bill. Nobody thought we could do that. Exactly 1 year ago today, we killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. And we took out the world's #1 terrorist. Soleimani is dead. And we took 100% of the ISIS caliphate. You know that, 100%. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal, one of the worst, stupidest deals. This was John Kerry, who liked to go bicycle riding, remember? That's the only thing that stopped him from finishing the deal sooner. So they paid $150 billion, $1.8 billion in green, in cash, for nothing. For an agreement that expires very shortly if we didn't terminate it. You know, time flies, right? For a short-term agreement, they gave him $150 billion. The first call I get when we win will be from the head of Iran. Let's make a deal. Their economy is crashing. It's crashing. They will call, and I want them to do well, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon if it's okay with you. If it's okay with you, they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Do we agree with that, Congressman? But we want them to do well, but it'll be the first call. I said, we don't want to negotiate. They got to see what happens because they dream also. China dreams. Every country's dreaming about it. Germany. You know, there was a poll that Barack Hussein Obama is more popular in Germany than I am. But I agree with that. If I win those polls, then I'm not doing my job, right? You know, when you think about it. No, they rip us. Everybody rips us. I recognize the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. That was promised for decades and decades by every single president running for office promised that, and nobody did it but me. Instead of right? I'm the only one. Instead of never-ending wars, we are forging peace in the Middle East. 3 countries, and they're lined up. They're lined up. So beautiful to see. No blood in the sand. Much less expensive. No, we just got yesterday Sudan, you saw that. Got Bahrain, UAE. Now, great. They're lined up. They're all set. You know what? They're tired. They're tired of fighting all the time. They're tired. We're bringing our soldiers back from Afghanistan, all coming back. Many have already come back. A vote for Republicans, 19 years is enough. Do you agree? 19. A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and the American dream. It's a vote for the American dream. And in conclusion, I hate to leave you, but in conclusion, over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world. And we will end our reliance on China once and for all. It's already happening. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. Second Amendment. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might. We've never had, I said, $2.5 trillion. We have the greatest tanks and rockets and missiles and jets, F-35, super stealth, and tankers and submarines, and our nuclear weapons are now tippy-top. And hope to God, you never have to use them. But we are the envy of the world. We are the envy of the world. Russia, China, North Korea, no matter where you go, our weapons are the envy of the world. Hope to God we never have to use them. But we will ensure peace through strength. We will maintain American energy independence. We're independent. Can you believe that? We have energy independence, first time. We will end surprise medical billing. Require price transparency, already signed, ready to go January 1st. Lower drug prices even more. We have favored nations. We get the lowest in the world. Now, we're the highest. We go down to the lowest. The drug companies don't exactly love me too much. Big Pharma. They are doing more commercials than me than Biden times 5. And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." In God we trust. You know, they wanted to take the word God out of their Pledge of Allegiance. You saw that. And I watched and I said, oh, they must have made a typo. They didn't have in God. They didn't have God. They took the word God out. I said, must. And then when I watched it a second time, same thing happened. I said, this is serious. And then our country got very angry, and it was incredible how quickly God got put back into, right? Got put back. Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for Pennsylvania. You know, a man named Byron York, he's a great writer. I find him to be a great writer. They know him very well. He did an article today. They were saying, who's going to win? He said, I don't know. But you have these incredible rallies, and I'm not just talking about Trump rallies, that just form. Car rallies, boat rallies, they just form. Without, by the way, trucker rallies, they have trucker rallies. And it was very interesting. He said, and it's true, they're organic. They just happen. They had a big one. They had a big one yesterday on Long Island. They had a big one in New York City. And he said, it's very interesting. You had a big one here, yeah? No, he said, yeah, I don't know. He said, you better be careful. You better be careful, because he's never seen anything like it. And I'm not even talking about the rallies that we do. I'm talking about these are rallies in Iowa. They had thousands of tractors. They had tractors. The boat rallies are incredible. For the last 4 years, you have seen me fight for you, and now I am relying on you to deliver another historic victory for our country. On November 3rd, we must finish the job and drain the swamp once and for all. We did it. But nobody told me the swamp was that deep and that dirty and that vicious. You get impeached for a perfect phone call. They impeach you for a perfect phone call. And by the way, they had the laptop as I call it, the laptop from hell. And based on that laptop, they should have never impeached, right? But they didn't want to reveal a little thing like that. No, it was great. And we had great loyalty from the Republican Party. Great, great loyalty. It was really great. Get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, and get your coworkers, and get the hell out to vote, please. You know what it's going to be all over the country, not just in Pennsylvania. It's going to be a great red wave. They're already talking about it. Boom. And it's going to be a lot bigger than people understand. And that's what Byron was talking about. He said, you know, I don't know. There's never been anything. There have never been rallies like this. We were in Ohio. We were in Wisconsin. Yesterday, we were in New Hampshire. I'm telling you, you had to see the biggest rallies anyone's ever seen. And they go quickly. You know, we give like 24 hours notice, press a button. We're going to be in New Hampshire. We're going to be in Ohio, Wisconsin. We're going to be someplace, and boom, you have tens of thousands of people. There's never been that before. You know, Sleepy Joe goes out, there's like 4 people show up. They have no people. They can't even fill up the circles, you know, the circles. And Barack Hussein Obama went out over the last 3-4 days. He's drawing flies. No, nobody's going. Obama's out, and they will never show it. You know, they don't turn. See, here they never show the extent of it. They have the opposite. They never show it. They should show it, because nobody is showing up to watch Barack Hussein Obama. See the red lights? See those red lights? All those red lights. That means you're on live. Are you ready? Oh, they just turned them off because I was insulting. Look, they just went off. Can you believe it? You know, they're tormented. The fake news. They're tormented. In one way, they have to have it on because it's ratings. It's big, big, beautiful ratings. In another way, CNN hates when I say CNN is fake, corrupt news. They hate it. So you'll see it go on and off a little bit. No, they just went off. Did you see that? Boom. Anytime I start talking, they sort of say, no, let's go to a commercial break now, please. No, they're tormented because they want the ratings. Without it, they get terrible ratings. They want the ratings. They're fantastic ratings. But at the same time, they don't want to be talked about in a bad manner, right? But you have to talk about them because they're corrupt. They have to report the news. They are the enemy of the people. They really are. They're the enemy of the people. For generations, America's destiny was made and forged and won in places like Bethlehem and Bristol, Scranton. And by the way, he has nothing to do with Scranton. Altoona, Easton, and Allentown. They were tough American men and strong American women who gave their heart, sweat, and soul for their families, their country, and for freedom. We stand on the shoulders of the Pennsylvania patriots who fought the battles, mined the coal, worked the assembly lines, loaded the rail cars, poured the steel that built the middle class. It built the middle class, raised up our great skyscrapers, laid down the battleships, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. Right? Proud citizens like you helped build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Pennsylvania, we have made America powerful again, our military. We have made America wealthy again, our stock market. Your 401ks, let's keep them up there. Don't throw them away in 2 years and you'll say, The previous president told me that was going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Your 401ks are hitting records. Does anybody have a 401k? We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Go and vote. Thank you.
All right, President Trump is wrapping up now his remarks, the first of our triple header at a rally in early in the day, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Stand by. Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're now going to be headed to Lititz, Pennsylvania, I believe. Lititz, Pennsylvania, and then Martinsburg. So we're going to send it back to Mike and Scott Pressler in just a second, who will sign off here at the rally in Allentown, and then we'll go live to Brian Glenn, who's standing by live in Lititz, and then later today in Martinsburg we have Adrian Ferguson, and Brick Suit is guest hosting. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Where would you be without Right Side Broadcasting? Just answer that question. I mean, yes, you could still see the Trump rally, but you wouldn't see everything up until the president speaks. You wouldn't see the entire crowds. You want to see the crowd at both rallies? We've got you covered. We can show you the crowd at both rallies right now. We also got a camera live, getting ready to go live in Lititz. So we appreciate you and your support helping us get to these events. rsbnetwork.com/donate. Hey, I'm just a guy from Alabama in a bedroom office right now, and we have put this together, and we have beaten mainstream media in view count. This is an honor to be out here on this, to have this platform right now and to fight for this man who's fighting for us, the President of the United States, who never gets fair coverage or treatment from mainstream media. I'm going to send it back to Mike and Scott Pressler, live from Allentown, PA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has just wrapped up his speech here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, the first of 3 today that he will be holding in the Keystone State, a key battleground state in which 20 electoral votes are up for grabs. I am your host, Mike Nificent, joined with our guest correspondent, Scott Pressler. We want to thank every last one of you for tuning in and supporting Right Side Broadcasting, independent media. We are going to win this fight together in 8 short days of patriots going out, voting in person. For those of you that are tuned in, please give us a thumbs up. Support us, independent media, guys. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to Right Side Broadcasting. Go to rsbnetwork.com/donate to support this movement. If we can show the crowd here, the people are just loving us here. Yes, these American patriots here in the building. We'd love to see it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes. God bless you. Look at Pennsylvania. Look at these patriots here. We're going to be wrapping this up here, guys, because myself and the cameraman, we have a flight to catch. We're headed to Nebraska next for President Trump's rally tomorrow, and then we're heading out west. But stay tuned with us today because we're bringing you 2 more events in the state of Pennsylvania. Scott Pressler, we're going to let him wrap this up. But guys, I can't stress it enough. We're almost entirely viewer funded. Go to rsbnetwork.com/donate to support this movement. 8 days. We're going to bring you live coverage of every single one of President Trump's events. You can support us via Super Chat if you're watching on YouTube in the bottom right-hand corner. Or you can mail a check to our physical address, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. Again, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. All right, Scott, bring it on home.
Well, I think we saw a very confident President Trump today. I think he's ready to win Pennsylvania, folks, but that depends on you. Are you going to turn in your mail-in ballot? Are you going to vote in person on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020? Remember, you have the power if you choose to vote, if you choose to hone that power. Don't wake up on November 4th wishing and hoping that you had done more. Use these next 8 days doing everything within your power. Knock on doors, join your local Republican Party, make phone calls, text everybody you know, call them, show up at their homes, and make sure we vote. Don't wake up, wish you had done more. Thank you to Right Side Broadcasting. I can't believe this is the third time I've been on. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Mike. Thank you to Liz. Thank you to our wonderful cameraman who just flew in from Alabama to be here with us. And our super chatters. We adore you. Guys, just remember, the final thing that I want to leave you with is this is a movement based on love. Love of country, love of brother, love of neighbor, love of the American dream. Don't let America's light die out. Let's burn bright for the next generation to come.
We can probably keep going for a little bit because we ain't getting out of here anytime soon. Look at the crowd. If Gage can show the crowd of people trying to get out of here, I don't know how far around he can turn. This is insane. Lots of people. Okay, yes. Look at the crowd here. They love us, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for tuning in here at RSB Network. We're almost entirely viewer funded. Can we get a... Okay, the camera sign off? We're signing off? Okay, we're signing off. Oh, go on cam. We're going to go on cam. We're going to go on cam. Here we go. I was trying to... My cameraman was basically whispering to me, told me to get on camera here. Guys, like I said, we're almost entirely viewer funded. Since we are, it's going to be a second so we can get out of here. I want to read some super chats, guys, because the super chats are just incredible. With my touchscreen gloves here, bear with me here. Okay, we got Nisa said, we love RSBN. We got Kyle Watt says, thank you. We got a new member, Daisy Rena. We got a super chat from Moana. We got another new member, Michael Honer. Juanito said, I just voted early to keep our president as our leader and commander-in-chief for 4 more years. Hispanics for Trump 2020. And hold on. Another new member, Valerie W. And we got a super chat from Irish Goodwitch. Says $5 challenge for each rally I watch. God bless you. We appreciate you. Jack Redmond says Biden murdered SEAL Team 6. Thank you for your super chat. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to RSBN and hit the bell notification so you do not miss a single rally. It is so critical as we have 8 days until the most important election anybody is going to vote in. It is so critical that you support independent, pro-American media. President Trump is fighting for all Americans, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of any of the dividing lines that the left uses to separate us as a country. United we stand, divided we fall. Look at the crowd. Let's show more of the crowd. I'm just always amazed by the crowd here. We're going to show you this crowd. We're the only media that's going to show you President Trump's crowds. Look at this crowd. We got everybody in here. Got everybody in here. Love to see it. Can we get a USA chant? USA! 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 Love it. Love it, guys. Look at this crowd of patriots here. They say Joe Biden's up in Pennsylvania. I can't tell. Where are Biden's supporters? Where are Biden's voters at? I don't see them. Biden's voters are non-existent, man. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We have got to make our flight because we're headed out to Nebraska. So we got to drive to Philadelphia. So at this point, we're going to sign off, guys. God bless you. God bless President Trump. And God bless the United States of America.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike Nificent, there live in Allentown, PA. We're now going to hopefully in just a second here, make our transition to the rally there in Lidditz. There we go. We are going to be busy. Martinsburg, PA later today, Lansing tomorrow, West Salem tomorrow, Omaha tomorrow, and then we're going to make the trip out west. Now, the thing about this west trip is we expect a third one to be announced later in the day. I don't exactly have a location on that yet, but we're going to be pretty much doing 2-3 rallies per day all the way, if I had to guess, through the weekend. And then once you get to the weekend, you're going to start seeing just incredible feats of strength from the president. Not like you haven't seen it already this entire campaign, but you're going to start to see 4, maybe even 5 rallies per day. Look at this crowd here that just wrapped up here in Allentown, and that's just a small portion of them. So we're going to go live in just a second here in Lidditz. What I'm going to do now is, if you're watching this on the Allentown stream, please go and migrate over to the Lidditz. I keep saying Lilith because we have a correspondent named Lilith, but it's Lidditz. We're going to go over to the Lidditz stream now, so migrate over that way. Thank you all so much for joining us. God bless. See you back here in just a second.
Hi, I'm Father Frank Pavone of Priests for Life. Have you joined one of the coalitions? Like a Trump. Go to donaldjtrump.com/coalitions and see where you fit in to support this campaign. There are coalitions for women, Latinos, blacks, veterans, Catholics, evangelicals, pro-life voices, and many more. And remember, support Right Side Broadcasting.
We are 8
days away from the 2020 presidential election, and it might just happen to come through Pennsylvania. Welcome, everybody. I am Brian Glenn as we get set for yet another Donald Trump rally here in the great state of Pennsylvania. We're in Lancaster County. We're at the regional airport here, and I'll step aside real quick and let you take a quick view. As you mainly see, we have seen crowds despite